That's my jam.
打ちつかれたこの鼓動は無力で儚いもの痛みは空よりもうららかに
But it's like watching an anime opening every day and then going into the new episodes. Except our episodes are like fucking an hour and a half long each. The best part of my day was the opening. Bro, I want to know what the next chapter's opening is gonna be. Play it after? I will. All right, lock in. Lock in, boys. Camera placement? Oh. The tip, we can pick it up after. It was a strange day where Mion was desperate to regain her composure. Every time our eyes met, she would say that she had something to do or that she had to use the washroom and run off. Unable to just watch, Rena was taking care of her the entire time.
今日のミオンさん、徹底的に変ですわね。
一部始終を知ってはいるんだが、なんとも説明しづらい。
女の子には不安定になる時もあるのです。
Are you? Is Rika trying to say she's on her period? What?
放っておいてあげるのが一番なのですよ。
Huh? Turning around, I saw Rena calling me from the hallway. Wait, you think I should read the tip? Okay. Let's go to the tip then. Let's go to the tip. All right, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something there. Is this one right? It hasn't been a while? Yeah, okay.
だから初めましてじゃないですって。昨日まで毎日お会いしてたじゃないですか。
もういい。お前がそうだって言うならそういうことでいい。
Someone from Shion's house came to get me in a station wagon. I'd initially refused, but Shion insisted, so both my bicycle and I ended up stuffed in the car. Oh, this is after what happened yesterday. Said car was currently driving across a single bumpy road leading to Hinamizawa. Wait. Okay, I thought it might be the same white van that tried to run us over last chapter. Shion was at Mion's level at least, or maybe an even better actor. Either way, no matter what question I pressed her with, she'd slip out of them like an eel.
しかし、そっくりだな。ミオンみたいに髪を後ろで結んだら、 やっぱりミオンそっくりになるのか？
さあ試せばそうなるんじゃないですか。私たち筋金入りの一卵性ですから。
Don't sound identical.
昔は服を取り替えっこしただけで誰も見破れなかったものです。お姉と一緒に断るごとに入れ替わっていろいろと騙したりしましたっけ。
The middle-aged driver wearing a black suit heaved a heavy sigh like he were a butler.
なあにかさい、その深いため息は。
失礼しました。昔から変わられないなと思っただけですよ。
He is probably a butler. You could see many years of hardship on the man's face through the rearview
それよ
mirror.
りケイちゃんの家ってこっちでいいんですか。葛西はその先本家の道以外はひなみ沢をよく知らないから任せておくと矢後内あたりまで走ってっちゃいますよ。
そりゃ困る。すみません。次の右に入る細い道のところで止めてください。そこまでで結構です。
Stop the car at the desired place. The driver, Kasai-san, got my bike out of the trunk for me.
どうもすみません。今日は送ってもらってありがとうございます。
圭一さんでしたか、お名前。
Why does this guy sound like Gendo?
あ、はい。
いろいろと災難はあると思いますが、そのうち飽きると思いますので、どうかそれまでご辛抱ください。
Okay, no, not really. It sounds almost like it, but I can't tell. He gave me a deep, deep look of sympathy. This guy has definitely been dealing with Sonozaki sisters ever since they were little kids.
ですが、ミオンさんと同じで、
It does sound
根は
like
優しい
Gendo.
方なんですよ。
I think it is. I can't tell.
それはつまりミオン並みに迷惑をかけるやつだということですか。
It is Gendo's VA? Okay. The man's face froze in a smile, his reply lost. Hey, back me up here.
じゃあねケイちゃん、また会いましょうね。お姉にもよろしくお伝えください。私も明日からひなみ沢の学校に通おうかな。
絶対に来るな。シオンが転校してきたら俺が沖宮の学校に転校するから。
Okay, at least Keiichi is no longer fooled by this sly fox bitch.
それはすごくひどいことですよ、ケイちゃん。
Keiichi doesn't like you, he likes Mion. A short beep of the horn, the man gave a little wave to me from the driver's seat. Then the car withdrew into the dark night road, leaving dust in its wake. Man, this entire day made no sense. I ran into Mion while I was with Shion, and the former's expression, like a pigeon shot with a pellet gun, had finally begun to make a strong impression on me. Oh, God. Chat, you can't like Shion. If you like Shion, then you like... You're supporting cuckoldry, okay? She is literally cucking Mion, bro. Okay. Some people are into that? Yeah, Sneeko. Okay, we read all this.
今日のミオンさん、
一部始終を知っ
女の放っておいてあげるのが一番な
Turning
の
around, I
です
saw
よ。
Rena calling me from the hallway. I wonder what it was.
ケイチくん、こっちこっち。
なんだよ、こんなとこに呼んで。内緒話か？
その災難だったみたいだね。みーちゃん、かなり壊れてたけど、なんとか直しておいたから。
Oh god, you think Mion's gonna kill Shion?
よく直せたな。
Oh boy.
一体どうやって？
うん、テレビと同じ。斜め45度くらいの角度で、えいえいって。
Huh? She hit her? Saying that, she made a chopping motion. You know, I can't tell if you're joking or not, right?
明日からは大丈夫だから。だけど、ケイチくんにもお願いしたいことがあるの。
悪気はないんだが、なぜか罪の意識もある。何でも聞くぞ。
うん、助かる。みーちゃんはね、昨日までの数日間のこと、 なかったことにするから。
No! Never happened, huh? I see. Well, that's one way to run
だか
from
ら
it.
ね、ケイイチくんもなかったことにしてあげて。それでみーちゃんいつも通りだから。
そんな簡単なことで本当に大丈夫なのか？
お願いだからみーちゃんの心の整理がつくまでそっとしておいてあげてよ。
わかったよ。
Oh, God. Even though I shouldn't have been at fault, for some reason I felt guilty. The one at fault here was the one who knew about the entire situation and pretended to be a Mion for an entire day, Shion. Ugh, but she never once said that she was Mion. Ugh, what am I supposed to be angry at? Seeing me stomping the ground impatiently, Rena giggled.
でもケイイチくんも分かったでしょ。みーちゃんにも可愛いところがあるんだって。
Rena talked in a calm voice as her hair rustled in the wind.
ああ、退屈しないやつだということが分かった。
よかった。
Following this curt reply, Rena looked up at the sky and stretched.
ケイイチくんがそれに気づいてくれれば、この数日間の出来事はすぐに笑い話になるんだよ。
Copying Rena, I also began to stretch as I looked at the sky. Clear sky towered into the distance.
今日は部活も何もなし。今日だけは申し訳ないけどケイイチくん、下校は一人でいいかな。
Why? So you can gang up with the whole crew and go kill Shion?
明日からは元通りだから今日だけね。
Yeah, it'll be all back to normal tomorrow because you've killed Shion. If all it took for everything to go back to normal was to leave Mion alone for today, then it was an easy decision to
分
make.
かったよ。ミオンに面と向かって言えないからレナに言っとく。
Bro, I can't relax. I don't trust these fucking witches. Alright, did you see what they did to Keiichi last chapter?
なんだか申し訳ないな。謝る。
元はといえばケイイチくんが無神経なことを言うからいけなかったんだよね。
Okay, whoa. Yes, sure. Keiichi started it, but clearly Shion was a two-timing bitch.
これに懲りて少しはデリカシーってものを身につけるんだよ。
へいへい、努力します。
That day was the shortest day of my life. Rena was talking to Mion while accompanying her around the entire time. It looked like a really fun conversation, so I reflexively thought about joining in, but I had made a promise not to. It seemed that Mion was also trying her best to ignore me. No. So likewise, I did my best to ignore her. I think the Mion route is so much better than Rena. Rena's like I don't know. Rena is clearly, she has demons inside her. Mion seems like she's a little bit more sensible. For the first time in a while, I ate lunch alone. Mion and Rena ate theirs by themselves. As I let out a sigh in my ashen mood, Rika-chan came over and patted me on the head.
ケイイチもミーもいっぱいお勉強しましたですね。
She was the one that injected Keiichi? Yeah, but like, I think Mion was doing it as a sense of duty for the village, right? Not so much like a fucking, her like face swapped instantly and she went into demon mode, right? Rena though, Rena's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch. Like, bro, she's like I don't know, she's crazy. It made it sound like we were having romantic problems. I didn't like that one bit. Hopefully, the teacher wouldn't notice and call us to the staff room after school or something.
きっとケイイチは素敵な
I
大
didn't
人に
forget
な
the
れます
needle,
ですよ。
but like Mion was gonna stick us with the needle, and but the whole time she was still Mion, right? She didn't change from like dark Rena to like light Rena, right? There was no dark Mion and like light Mion. Mion was just like pretty much Mion the whole time.
なでなで。
Keiichi's not gonna get to an adulthood, Rika. He's gonna die.
リカちゃんはお勉強家だからすごい素敵な大人になれそうだな。
もちろんなのですよ。僕は大人になったらすごいのです。
Okay, narcissist.
あら、私も大人になったらすごいレディーになるんですのよ。
Okay, right. Relax.
サトコはいくつになってもお子様だと思うぞ。かけてもいい。
True. Manje, thank you for the gifted sub.
なんですって？
As Satoko snapped her fingers, a wash bin fell from above, hitting me squarely in the head.
いってー。何 しやがんだサトゴ。
Bang, smash, pinch, squeeze. It was a day I could thoroughly appreciate the value of having friends. All right. I see a skunk dog behind me, rolled up like a fucking donut. Oh God. Is it the next day? Oh shit. Today was Saturday, so oh shit. The Watanagashi's tomorrow. One day till Watanagashi. Someone will die. It really felt good to go home with the sun so high in the sky. On any other day, our club would have been up to mischief during our ample after-school time. But today, Rika-chan had a rehearsal for tomorrow's Watanagashi to go to.
リカちゃんはどんな調子？練習はバッチリ？
去年よりは頑張りますです。
去年は終わった後ヘトヘトの汗だらけだったんだよね。
Mion's back! My goat!
私はもっともっと様になってますわよ。特訓の成果ご期待あそばせですの。
The Watanagashi festival everyone had been talking about was tomorrow, wasn't it? Festival being in June felt a little early to me, but the onset of summer came quickly this year, so it fit the image of a summer festival pretty well.
じゃあ僕たちは失礼しますです。明日を楽しみになさいませ。それではごきげんようですわ。
Satoko and Rika-chan waved to us energetically, then left.
そういえば聞いてなかったんだけど、祭り会場ってどこなんだ？この辺って祭りのできそうな場所なんてあったっけ？
古出神社でやるんだよ。ほら、以前にみんなでお散歩した時に行ったでしょ。あの見晴らしの良かったところ。
Oh right, I remember. There was a shrine all the way up on that hill, wasn't there? It seemed far too grand for Hinamizawa.
神社には立派な集会所とかもあって、老人会のカラオケとか習字サークルの会合とかを時々やってるからね。単なる神社というよりは公共施設のような雰囲気だね。
なるほどね。
I'm
それな
glad
ら
we're
立派
talking
なのも納
normally.
得かな。
みーちゃんちも今日の設営にはお手伝いに行くの？
うん、男手がいるからね。町から親類が大勢手伝いに来るよ。
Male hands, huh? Well, I mean, I have nothing to do at home today, so...
俺みたいのが飛び入りで参加するとかえって邪魔になるか？
ケイちゃん、手伝いに来てくれるの？
迷惑なら行かねえよ。単なる興味だからさ。
We had bond dances and other festivals in the town I used to live in, but I didn't even know where they took place, much less wanted to help. You could say that I had absolutely no connection to the region. Having come to Hinamizawa, though, it really made me feel like this place was a home that I returned to. Wait, what if Keiichi did, and he's cursed? What if Keiichi's family was Hinamizawa and came back and now has the curse of Oyashiro-sama and now he's in like a loop or something? Before I knew it, I harbored a little interest in the small community activity of preparing for a festival the day before.
ケイチくん頑張れるかな？
Who's the crazy one here? We haven't seen anybody break character yet. We were like, no, let me see. We are almost 7 hours into this chapter and nobody has gone into dark mode.
テントを立てたりパイプ椅子を並べたり結構重労働って聞いてるよ。
別に俺一人でやるわけじゃないだろ。みんなでやればきっと早いぜ。
Mion looked happy to hear that, but at the same time her expression was complex, tinged with hesitation. Rena gave her the last push for me.
じゃあ決定だね。行ってきなよケイチくん。みーちゃんはビシビシこき使ってあげてね。
レナの推薦じゃ仕方ないな。じゃあさ、帰ったらラフな格好で神社に来なよ。汗拭き用のタオルもあるといいかもね。
Wait, what if Shion shows up?
よし来た。俺こう見えても太陽の下で汗をかくの嫌いじゃないんだぜ。
せいぜい腰を痛めないようにね。じゃあおじさんはこの辺で。私も着替えたらすぐに神社に行くから。
みーちゃんも頑張ってね。バイバイ。
Bye bye. Mion waved vigorously to us and left. As far as I could tell from her gallant retreating figure, she seemed to have recovered from the weak state she had yesterday.
女の子は切り替えが早いんだから。
If you say so, Rena. I don't know. If I recall last chapter, you two motherfuckers held a grudge on me and killed me.
もうみーちゃんも大丈夫だよ。
うん。あれだけ綺麗に切り替えてくれると、こっちも
I guess
実に
technically
合わせ
I
やすい。
killed them, but they tried to kill me.
でも面白かったでしょ。シンデレラみたいっていうのかな。魔法が解けたらもう会えないってところが。
Rena began to giggle a bit in amusement. That's not nice, Rena. Okay. Did she like this sort of thing? Incidentally, me going along with it gave me a weird, hard-to-describe feeling. Did I turn myself into a plaything? Or did they do it
そ
for
んな
me?
に面白いなら、レナももう一人の自分を演じればいいじゃないか。
No, you don't want that, Keiichi, alright?
面白そうだね。
No, I'm good. No, none of that.
じゃあケイイチくんはどんなレナに会いたいかな。
Yeah, Keiichi, what's the opposite of what Rena is?
アイドル真っ青のルックスと、俺の言うこと何でも確実に聞く器量よして頼む。
Bro, Keiichi's exactly like what's his name from fucking Umineko. Just wants to touch tits.
そんなの無理。
料理上手でお昼のお弁当を作ってくれて、朝は迎え
I'm
に来て
a
くれて。
refined gentleman. I would never do such things, okay?
それいつ
Heather
も
my
やってる。
goat? Yeah, okay, relax, bro. I pull Rena's head into a tight grip, then start to pet it.
優遇レナなんだろ。レイナじゃなくてレナ。だからレナはいつまでもレナのまんまでいろ。
Whoa. Where did Keiichi get Rena from? We have never talked about Rena ever. How the fuck?
ありがとう。
So how does he know that? We've never received that information in this playthrough. Who is Rena supposed to be? Rena is Rena's real name. But we got that from chapter 1, not this. This is chapter 2. We've never received this information before. Keiichi should not have that information. So, even more convincing time loop where like maybe some memories are leaking through?
お祭りのお手伝い頑張ってね。
おう、明日祭りで会おうな。
Sus. It's sus. It's all sus. I got changed right away and slinging a towel around my neck like Mion suggested. I set off for the shrine. Read the log again. Did Rena ever go with Keiichi every morning during this chapter? No, not really. The shrine, there were more people than you'd imagine even live in Hinamizawa there. Most of this chapter has been us interacting with Mion. Rena has just tagged along here and there, but like, she hasn't tagged along much. So where the fuck do we get the Rena name? Rena doesn't exist. All cordoning off areas and setting up tent frameworks, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. How many Yuhi pullers tomorrow? 4? Not including myself. Alright, where's Mion? The liveliness of the throng didn't make it easy to look for her. I searched around as if I already worked there, and suddenly the principal called out to me.
前原君であるか。
What
感
if
心である。
Shion appears as Mion and ties her hair up?
綿流しの準備のお手伝いに来たの
Yeah, I
か
already
ね。
saw the trailer for Stellar Blade.
え、何かお手伝いできないかなって思いまして。
首相な心がけである。存分に汗を流すがよいぞ。
Why do all the old men in this laugh like this? Spurred on by the principal, I came upon a group of people setting up
あ
tents.
りゃ、前原の兄ちゃんじゃねえの。ひょっとして手伝いに来たのかい？
I hadn't found Mion yet, but I suppose I'd just get in her way if I ran
おっ
into
す
her.
手伝いに来ました。よろしくお願いします。
若いのは元気があっていいね。ほら、軍手つけてテントは組んだことあるかい？
いえ、初めてっす。
Delighting in teaching a new skill to someone younger, plenty of people happily taught me all sorts of things.
じゃあ、兄ちゃんは天幕の内側に入って天骨の紐だけ結んで。結んだら足を立てて残りの紐も結ぶからな。
蝶々結びでいいんですよね。よいしょ。よいしょ。
結んだか。立てるぞ。いっせーの。
What was once nothing more than a collapsed tent was raised on 4 splendid legs before my eyes in mere moments. Whoa, seeing it put together like this is actually pretty moving.
ほれほれ、感動してる場合じゃないぞ。
10 more to go.
まだまだたくさん。トラックにテントを積んであるからここまで持ってきな。重いから2人でやれよ。
大丈夫っすよ。俺こう見えても結構力あるんすから。
Keiichi, you got fucking laid out by weebs. They look light enough, so I thought they were, but they're heavy.
だから2人で運べって言ったろ。ほれほれ。
Said the man, lifting it up with a grunt and taking it away under his arm. Either I'm weak or these old guys have superhuman
ほら
strength. You're weak.
一番若いんだから汗しないとダメだぞ。頑張れ頑張れ。終わった後のビールがうまいぞ。
俺未成年だし。
Now, was that a JJK reference? Sweat dripped from my body. I had been fully and completely absorbed in helping them. I would never have thought the cold barley tea from the Women's Society could taste this delicious.
若いからね。担当のみ。
ありがとうございます。
It was then that I realized a crowd had formed near a shrine way off. When I took a closer look, I saw a girl dressed in shrine maiden garb and a handful of old men looking like they were preparing for a ceremony
リカちゃん
together.
か？おーい、リカちゃん。
Why would you do that, Keiichi?
頑張れよ。
Now she's gonna fucking be nervous. Seems she heard me. Rika-chan, positively exploding with vitality, answered with a smile. The older guys with me watched Rika-chan as well with distant gazes.
リカちゃまも頑張るな。去年に比べるとだいぶ板についてきたみたいだしな。
The old lady who gave me the tea clasped what looked like a prayer bead in her hands and
リ
said,
カ様、ありがたや、ありがたや。
What the fuck? Why are they worshipping Rika? Just like that, began to respectfully pray to her. Huh? Just remember that they called it the Furude Shrine. Wasn't Rika-chan's full name Rika Furude? The man standing next to me answered my
そうだ
question.
よ。リカちゃまのフルデ一族は代々大社様をお祭りする由緒正しい一族なんだよ。
Oh shit, this is where we learn about Oyashiro-sama. Huh? I'd always gotten the feeling she wasn't quite your average age. Oh no. Keiichi's starting to ask questions. It all goes downhill when he starts asking questions. Don't ask questions, Keiichi.
一昨年神主様だったお父さんが亡くなられてからはああやって頑張って祭事を引き継いでおるんだよ。この立派になった姿神主様に見せたかったの。
え、リカちゃんのお父さんってお亡くなりになったんですか？
よし、休憩終わり。次は使わないパイプ椅子を
Oh, no, no,
屋
no.
上の体育館に戻しちゃおっか。マキさん、Kを回して何人か連れてってよ。
じゃあ前原君最後にもう一働きしようか。
Good. You're gonna make me do more work? I can't tell if they know I'm a minor or not, but the older men all cheer me on, encouraging me to do my best and that the beer will be great. He can't drink beer.
ケイちゃん頑張ってる。
I passed by Mion. She was carrying a big cardboard box. It looked like she was right in the middle of working as well. Judging by the sweat seeping into her shirt, it seemed I wasn't the only one with his hands full.
頑張ってるぜ。ミオンも頑張れよ。ビールがうまいぞ。
Oh my god, that laugh. We were worked to the bone until the sun began to set and started cooling off. Why did we get a fade to black? Okay. It was soon full-fledged night, and the clear sound of the Higurashi eased the moderate pain I felt. The older guys began their night before drinking party in a tent fair bit off, causing quite a ruckus. The shrine grounds, on the other hand, had turned into a lonely road tickled by the cool evening breeze, despite being so festive just a little while ago. The wind felt good. I leaned on one of the stone guardian dogs at the front of the shrine. I gave my legs a good stretch as I let my mind wander, and suddenly a paper cup filled with barley tea was thrust
ケイちゃん
before
お
me.
疲れ様。
Oh no.
はい、麦茶です。
お、気が利くな。サンキュー、
Her voice sounded exactly the same, but it felt somehow different. It doesn't sound the same.
あ、お前は。
どうも、シオンです。
Is it real Shion or is it Mion?
気が利いているのはシオンの方。聞いてないのがミオンの方ですので、お間違いなきよう。
シオン、てめえ、ここで会ったが100年目。
ケイちゃんが勝手に勘違いしたんですよ。私は初めからシオンとしか名乗ってませんし。
それを言われると弱い。
Okay, I think this is real Shion.
そうそう、お姉にすらかなわないケイちゃんが私にかなうわけないんですからね。それより麦茶ぬるくなっちゃいますよ。
うん。
もう機嫌直してください。だからこれ仲直りの麦茶ってことで。
Shion, you realize you ruined every opportunity Keiichi could have had to fix everything up with Mion? Well, she did come all the way here to give it to me. I guess I'll accept it. I took the cup and drowned it in one gulp. And then suddenly, I heard a loud shout and it got stuck in my throat.
今度はどっちだ？本物のミオンか？
シオン！あんた、なんでまたケイちゃんと一緒にいるわけ？
Oh my god, Shion's... Rena's gonna have to fix Mion again.
お姉と違って私は気配りとかできるタイプですから、汗だくになってたケイちゃんを放っておけなくて麦茶を持ってきたわけです。ところでお姉はなんで麦茶を2つも持ってるんですか？
Oh my god, Mion was gonna do exactly that! This fucking bitch, Shion! Mion's face went bright red and she tried to hide the paper cups behind her back.
いや、これは大雑把で自分さえ良ければいいお姉がクラスメートの男の子に海外しく麦茶を持ってくるわけないですよね。
This bitch, Shion.
結局何なんです？その2つの麦茶は。これはそのすっごく喉が渇いちゃって2杯は飲めるかなーなんて。お姉らしい。それ一気。
Nah, listen, I hate Shion. She's a bully. As Shion cheered at her, Mion downed both the cups of tea, one after the other.
さすがはお姉、見事な飲みっぷりでした。ケイちゃんも拍手拍手。
Wait, suddenly the situation has gotten unbelievable. Mion doesn't usually get manipulated so easily like that. I've known for a while now, but Shion is
ミオンっ
terrifying.
てシオンには頭上がらないのか？
私シオン嫌い。この前からもっと嫌いになった。
Oh no. Oh no. Tomitake, don't do it.
こんばんは。
No. He's gonna get syringed again. Oh wait, so is Tomitake gonna die again? Even though we haven't barely interacted with him?
いよいよ明日がお祭りだね。今日は準備お疲れさん。
こんばんは。
You fucking bitch. Why'd you disappear last chapter, huh? We all know what you did. You baited Tomitake into his death, and they cornered him and syringed his ass.
あら、シオンちゃん珍しいわね、こっちへ来るなんて。
ありゃ、富田家のおじさまに高野さんじゃないですか。
こんばんは。ご無沙汰いたしております。
君が噂の転校生米原圭一君だね。今日は張り切って仕事してたね。感心したよ。
Why does Tomitaka sound different? Am I crazy? Yo, did he get more muscular? What the hell happened to the remake art? No, his voice changed. I feel like I've seen this photographer guy before.
どこかでお会いしてますよね。
覚えててくれて嬉しいね。
Why does he sound like this? This is not what he sounds like.
圭一君とは道で何度かすれ違ってるよ。僕は富
He
武。
sounds like a fucking old man.
東京から来てるフリーのカメラマンさ。
じゃあ私はわかるかしら。
すみません、覚えがないです。
高野美代さんだよ。ケイちゃんはまだ風邪とかで診療所のお世話にはなってない？美代さんは診療所で看護師さんをやってるんだよ。
The cold didn't happen in this chapter either. What? No, chat. The cold did not happen in chapter 2. The cold happened in chapter 1. Remember, the cold, quote unquote, was her excuse to get away from Rena. What?
高野よ。
So why do all these people know these things that haven't happened in this chapter? Check Discord right now. What happened? What is this? Why did Lily get a Doti t-shirt made? Hey, this is my phone wallpaper picture. She used my phone wallpaper picture. Okay. This is such a goofy shirt. Alright. Dodi merch? Oh, where? Interesting. I'll buy 5. Bro, I don't even have one. What do you mean?
よろしくね。治療に来るときは教えてね。
そりゃご丁寧にどうも。
That's yours? Tomitaka-san seemed to be quite entertained at the Sonozaki twins being in the same place, and he took picture after picture.
話には聞いていたけど、知らんせいソーセージってのは初めて見たよ。
I don't like Tomitaka's new voice, bro. This shit sounds stupid as fuck. Nah.
本当にそっくりなんだな。
そっくりなのは外見だけじゃないんですよ。ほら、下着もお揃い。
Whoa, 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 whoa!
バカバカ、あんた何すんの？
Things have never been as lively as when the two of them are together. I thought they were exactly the same at first, but I started to get a handle on which one is which. Mion is Mion, and Shion, well, she seems far better actor than Mion was. First place, somebody that could spurn Mion so easily wouldn't have shown such weakness to these lard buckets at Angelmore. If that was the case, then that cowardly behavior from that day was all a complete act.
あの二人、昔はもっとそっくりでね。
Oh boy. Oh god. Getting your throat ripped out does that to you? True. Wait. What if Tomitake sounds this way because his throat was ripped out? But I don't sound that way. Right? Keiji sounds the same.
ご両親でもどっちがどっちかわからなくて手を焼いていたそうよ。
すごく想像に容易です。ご両親のご苦労がよくわかります。
Takano gave me a kind of odd look, but explaining would have been a pain, so I didn't bother.
富武のおじさまはまた渡流しの取材が終わったら東京にとんぼ帰りですか？
うん。本当はいつまでも滞在していたいんだけどね。
Wait, he sounds normal now.
しがない大人の都合ってやつさ。
What, did they have to revoice like the lines before? What the fuck happened? I'm so confused.
お写真が早く素敵な賞を取るといいですね。お祈りしていますね。
ありがとう。今度来るときには
Now he
今日撮
sounds
った君
normal.
たちの写
What
真
the
を持って
hell?
くれよ。
He cleared his throat. The voice acting booth, it just had a fucking piece of shit in his fucking throat for the first couple lines. I was like, no, okay, I'm good.
今日は前原くんもお疲れ様。慣れない力仕事で疲れたでしょ。
まあ疲れたけど結構楽しかったです。
若さね、羨ましいわ。
I don't like this Takano bitch. She looks like a cultist. Takano-san smiled with an adult elegance that no one in my circle of friends possessed. The wind caught her hair. She gives off an intelligent beauty.
おやおや皆さんこんにちは。
It seemed like our merry crowd was standing out. This time an overweight older man addressed us. And again, it was someone I thought I knew. If I recall correctly, he's a policeman, isn't he?
あら、大石さん。こんばんは。明日の警備の下見ですか？
はははは。そんなところです。おや、富武くんじゃないですか。ご無沙汰しておりますね。
僕の名前を覚えていてくださったとは光栄ですよ。
あなたもつくづくひなみざわが好きですな。
I can't take Oishi seriously whenever he says Hinamizawa. I just hear the song.
ここいらへんは東京よりもずっとアパートは安いですよ。いっそ引っ越してくればいいのに。仲のいい不動産屋を紹介しますよ。
それは嬉しいですね。その説はぜひお世話になりたいです。
ではでは皆さん、良いお年を。園崎の双子さんも良い
お年を、大石刑事。
Whoa. Why is Shion like frowning?
お仕事よろしくお願いしますね。今年は皆さんの手を煩わせない綿流しにしたいです。
こりゃ手厳しい。
Detective Oishi left us with a low laugh and headed off to talk to some police officers standing a ways away. Whoa. I feel like this has weird continuity. The only reason they don't fucking like Oishi is because of the last loop.
そうね。今年は警察のお世話にならない綿流しになるといいわね。
Uh-oh. This is where we learn some shit?
君も好きだね。
あら、二郎さんは嫌い？私、そういう夢のある話好きよ。潤いのない時代だからこそ、そういうのに憧れるの。
Well, I remember Mion said last chapter that she showed him mercy and let him live that one time because he was retiring this year. So maybe this is the moment when she was gonna kill him?
お社様のたたりか。
Tomitake, you're doing it again. You said it, Mion and Shion are standing right next to us. Don't fucking put a bullet or a bullseye on your back, bro. Curse. Tomitake-san used a troubling word. Then suddenly someone tugged on my arm.
ケイちゃん、私お腹空いちゃったからさ。酒盛りのテントに行ってお菓子でも食べてこない？
Oh shit, Mion's trying to distract.
そうだな。俺もちょっとお腹が減ったかな。
行こう行こう。
Moment later, Shion said something to Takano and Tomitake that stung my ears and gave me a start.
今年は誰が死んで誰が消えるんでしょうね。
Oh no, we heard it. No. Now it's... Oh, it's over. Now Keiichi's gonna start getting confused and start asking questions. I pulled back from Mion's grip and stopped abruptly.
シオン、今、なんて言ったんだ？
Katsubushi, think we're to 44.
07.
Felt like the air around us dried out all of a
行
sudden.
こうよケイちゃん。つまんない話だよ。お姉はまだケイちゃんに話してないの？
Oh shit. Oh yo, Shion, you're kind of just setting yourself up to get killed too. I ain't gonna lie.
私、そういう話は吹き込まない主義なの。
Shion's cold and quiet tone and Mion's harsh voice were quite the
おい
contrast.
おいおいおい、何の話だよ。知ってるなら教えてくれよ。俺だけのけ者なんて、なんだか気分悪いぞ。
I don't understand it. Someone explain it to me. However, Mion didn't seem to be at all willing to grant my request. She squeezed my hand in hers a bit, but then when she realized I would hold my ground on this topic, she let go.
じゃあさ、私先に酒盛りのテントに行ってるよ。
Oh no, Keiichi.
早く来ないとケイちゃんの分なくなっちゃうからね。
She's giving you a hint. You need to follow or else.
ああ、分かってるって。すぐ行くから。
Mion left, trotting towards a particularly noisy tent on the other side of the shrine grounds. Before she got there, she stopped and turned back around. I showed no signs of going after her though, so she ran off. Oh no.
もしも聞いてないんだったら話してもいいけど、
No, don't do it, Tomatake! Shion's baiting you to death!
ひょっとすると聞かないで彼女と一緒にお菓子を食べに行った方が
True!
賢明かもし
Listen
れ
to
ないよ。
Tomatake, Keiichi! Hey now, you've already gotten my full attention here. I'm not going to leave without asking
ケイちゃんに
at
も
this
聞く
point.
権利があると思います。お姉はその権利を奪ってただけです。
Shion's voice was bristling with thorns as if somehow blaming Mion.
一体何の話だって言うんですか？あんまりもったいぶられると不愉快ですよ。
Takano-san, realizing how prepared I was, looked across the group. After confirming that there was no objection, she opened her mouth.
前原君はタタリを信じるかしら？
We're gonna get the same dialogue again?
たたりですか？面白いとは思いますけど、あんまり信じては。
I felt their cynical stares and winced. It was like they were telling me it was stranger not to believe in curses.
ケイちゃんは間違ってないですよ。タタリなんて迷信もいいとこ。信じなくて当たり前です。
そうね。それにタタリを信じるかどうかは話を最後まで聞いてからゆっくり考えればいいことなんだから。
Said Takano-san, giving us a little smile. They're trying to scare me. At least that's what it feels like.
じゃあ少し僕が話そうか。圭一君はひなみ沢ダム計画を知ってるかい？
Oh yeah, the other day at Angel Mort, Shion or Mion rather told me all
確
about
かひなみ沢が丸ごと水没する巨大なダムの計画が発表されたって言うんですよね。
その通り。それに反対するために住民運動が結成され、国と激しい戦いを繰り広げたんだ。
I've heard that too. The entire village united using all the power at their disposal, mass media, political influence, and other things, and fought the country. The way Mion described it made it sound like a boast.
あれ？ずいぶん詳しいじゃないか。そう、その通りさ。わずか1000人ちょいの村人たちが中心になって結束して国の施策を跳ね返したというちょっとした武勇伝なんだ。
その辺はお姉に聞かされてませんか？この辺りの武勇伝はお姉も好きですからね。
ああ、話してたよ。
そのひなみ沢の人たちが結束して旗揚げした反対同盟の事務所があったのがね、この神社なんだよ。
ほら、あの集会所がその名残よ。解散後は老人会のサークル活動にしか使われてないけど、当時はまさに最後の砦だったの。
Takano-san explained this, pointing a finger towards the assembly hall. I had been carrying things in and out there all day. I mean, I would understand if they put an office like that in the mayor's house or something, but having an office on shrine grounds made it feel kind of like a base camp for Sengoku period warriors.
そんな心境だったんだろうね。彼らはひなみ沢の守り神様であるお社様を祀る神社に本陣を置くことで必勝を祈願したんだよ。
Oyashiro-sama. That was definitely it. They mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse before. Is it the same Oyashiro-sama?
圭一君はお社様は知ってるかい？この神社の祀る神様の名前だよ。 ひなみ沢を守ってると伝えられてる。
いや、よくは知らないです。
そうか。じゃあここから先は高野さんの方が詳しいかな。タッチ。
平たく言えばそのままよ。お社様はこのひなみ沢に伝わる古い神様で、神聖なこの地が属性に汚されることがないよう守り続けてきたと伝えられてるわ。
So essentially, he's a basic standard guardian deity. I guess you can find that sort of god anywhere
お
you
社
go.
様崇拝は一種の先民思想の表れではないかと研究されているわね。先民思想って言葉わかるかしら？
Believing yourself chosen, a nationalistic belief that you're part of a superior race or that you're a special clan chosen by the gods. They believe that they're a superior clan, so they believe strongly in cooperating with others, but they also end up being exclusionary towards other clans. I won't go into too much detail, but it's a sort of national and religious ideas that lead to war. Of course, that goes for Japan
大
too.
昔のひなみ沢の人たちは自分たちは人間とは異なる格の違う存在だと強く信じていてね、下界との交流を汚れとして意味嫌ったそうなの。だから村に下界の人間が来ると汚れてお社様の罰が当たると強く信じ、何者も近寄らせなかったそうよ。
よそ者を嫌う村ってよく推理小説に出てくるだろ。典型的なそういう村だったらしいんだよ。
一応名誉のために断りますけど、大昔のことですからね。今は違います。
Shion followed up quickly, having sensed the thorns in Tomitake-san's words. Tomitake-san, embarrassed at what he said, scratched at his head. So this shrine worships Oyashiro-sama, thinks of Hinamizawa as holy ground, and is a symbol of their traditional hatred of the
なる
outside
ほど。
world.
だから下界からやってきた汚れたダム計画に立ち向かうために、ひなみ沢の守り神様の神社に本陣を置いたと。
Correct, smiled Takano, pleased. She must dislike stupid
円
people.
担ぎも万端。村人たちは視力を尽くしてダム計画に立ち向かうんだ。その最中なんだよ。事実上あの事件でとどめが入ったと言ってもいい。
Oyashiro-sama's curse.
ひなみ沢ダムの建設現場の監督がですね、これ4年前かな。結構派手に新聞に載ったんですけど、覚えてません？
ちょっと知らないな。
部下と喧嘩してツルハシでめった打ちにされて、両手両足首をもいで捨てられたんだそうです。
バラバラ殺人だよ。一頃流行ったろ。
Why does his voice sound funny there? But it was just that an incident. A person caused the incident after all. Should they really put it down to the curse?
その翌年にはね、ひなみ沢の住人でありながらダム推進派のグループを結成していた男がね、旅行先で崖から落ちて死んじゃったの。これは事故だそうよ。
何しろひなみ沢中から敵視されていたからね。
Bro, Tomadake's voice actor just needs to clear his throat between lines. Like, what's going on here? So we're just getting all the same information, nothing new.
警察もかなり念入りに他殺の線を洗ったんだけど、結局事故と断定したみたいだよ。
Now it's an accident. This is the most curse-like one, but it's still far-fetched.
さらに翌年、今度はね、この神社の神主さんが原因不明の病で倒れて急死しちゃったの。
前の神主さんはこう言っちゃ失礼ですけど、ちょっと日和見な人だったんですよね。
Oh my god, it just occurred to me. Fuck! I booked that hotel room for Saturday, but I completely forgot about Dodi. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to drive home anyways and feed Dodi and then go back. Oh, shit. God damn it, you dog.
村中が反ダムで盛り上がってるのに神主さんは放っておけみたいな感じで、抵抗運動の象徴である神社の神主さんがそんな感じなんだからね。リーダーシップを期待していた当時の村人たちは失望し、中には怒りを抱く人たちもいたそうよ。だから当時年寄り連中はみんな言ったんです。これはお社様のたたりだってね。
I'm just gonna have to drive back and forth anyways. Oh, what a headache. Whatever. Did seem like every year dam-related people, the village had resentment towards were dying. It was pretty creepy.
しかもね、面白いことにこれらの事件や事故は毎年必ず綿流しのお祭りの晩に起こるんだよ。
Nah, it's not paid for a hotel for nothing. I could still, I basically gonna still rest in it and like, so I could just go back and forth from the event, but.
ね、ちょっとたたりっぽくなってきたでしょ。
It's the same dialogue so far.
さらに翌年、つまり去年だね。今度は事故死したダム推進派のリーダー格の男の弟夫婦の奥さんが撲殺死体で発見されちゃったんだ。もちろん犯人は捕まったけどね。
ね。やっぱりたたりっぽいでしょう。
4 years in a row. Each one of the incidents and accidents were relatively commonplace. But every single one of them happening on the night of the festival, worshipping Oyashiro-sama, that's not normal.
年寄り連中はこの数年の事件ですっかりお社様のたたりを盲信しちゃって、若い人たちだって最初はバカにしてましたけど、今は誰も茶化しませんね。
Yeah, I can see where she's coming from. Even me, even if I didn't think there was a curse at all. Thinking about all the incidents like this makes me feel like maybe it's real.
例えば今日のお祭り準備にしてもそうさ。ダムとの戦いで荒れていたとはいえ、何年か前までは綿流しはそんなに盛況していたわけじゃないんだよ。
まあそうですね。お社様のたたりの話がなかったらこんなにお祭りには集まりませんね。不信心者には罰が当たるかもしれない。だからお社様のお祭りには必ず出ようって言ってる人たち多いです。
Infidels! She nodded as if she were mocking
どうかな。
herself.
圭一君もひょっとしてたたりは本当にあるのではという気になってきたんじゃないかな。
So is... I mean, you can't just laugh off people related to the dam construction project all dying like that. If even I feel like this now, then the more superstitious members of the village must feel stronger than that.
まあそれでもたたりなんかないと思ってます。
So is Higurashi just going to be Keiichi's battle against believing or not believing curses are real?
ですけど信じる人たちの気持ちもわかるつもりです。
さすがケイちゃんは冷静に判断できてますね。
Shion grinned, realizing I rejected the curse.
たたりでもなく偶然のはずもないなら、さてこれらの事件はどういうことになるのかしらね。
Isn't that exactly what human echo is? Yeah, witches and magic. Neither a curse nor a coincidence, but every year someone dies. What should we make of that then? Tomitaka-san, catching on to the fact that I had no idea what to make of it, opened his mouth and came to my aid.
高野さんはね、人間の仕業かもしれないって言ってるんだよ。
Eh? Simple process of elimination would have gotten me there. I was a little taken aback at not having realized the answer immediately.
だってそうでしょ。
Yo, you know Mion's in the back just fucking staring at us, listening to this entire conversation, readying the syringe to fucking kill Tomitake.
たたりでもなく偶然でもないなら、人の意志が働い
Yeah,
てる
that's
としか
what
考えられ
Mion's
ない
POV
も
is
の。
just staring. Takano-san pressed on. I smiled bitterly in spite of myself. Here I was just a few minutes ago, thinking the very concept of a curse was absolutely absurd. When she suggested it was someone's doing, I ended up thinking there wasn't any way it could be a person. But Takano-san was right. it was either a curse or it was a person's doing. If unrealistic things like curses didn't exist, then the obvious next step would be to start thinking it was people behind it. But if that was the case, I glanced at Shion.
人間が犯人なら確かにひなみ沢の誰かが犯人なんでしょうね。現に警察の大石さんはそう見てますから。
おいおい、そんなわけあるのかよ。
I thought I now knew the reason Mion didn't want to talk about this. If Oyashiro-sama's curse really existed, then that's fine. It would be divine judgment for the dam project business. However, if Oyashiro-sama's curse didn't exist, which it obviously didn't, then the culprit would most likely be someone from Hinamizawa. The villagers had worked desperately to oppose the dam construction project. I knew they had used all sorts of methods to fight against it. If one of those methods was, maybe...
お社様のたたりはダム計画抵抗運動の暗部じゃないかって囁かれてるんです。
Shion dryly put words to my exact thoughts. Of course I didn't expect it. Well, we know that's true because we saw that fucking group of people with that man. She was from Hinamizawa, so I didn't think she'd come out and say it herself.
ちょっと落ち着いて考えれば、誰が見たってひなみ沢の誰かの仕業だってわかることです。
We saw the director, and he's more than likely the first man who did die in the dam project. I bet you the real person they killed was someone else, and just made it seem like it was the person.
ダム工事に反対して得をする人以外、動機がないじゃないですか。
Because all you really have to do is like, even if you dismember someone, you just have to burn off all their fingerprints and then remove all their fucking teeth so there's no dental records, and then just like fucking cook their body parts like enough so that it's completely unrecognizable and that there's no like, and even if there was no DNA, right, if it's not in the criminal database, then like they wouldn't have a connection to that either. How do you know? I just watch a lot of true crime.
それはそうだけど。
Shut up! I just watch true crime. Admitting to the existence of a darker side of the dam conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly. Pop, yeah, you got me, chat. I'm actually part of the Higurashi, the Hinamizawan dam project resistance group. So I couldn't just accept Shion's seemingly logical viewpoint.
それにね、警察の人は知らないだろうけど、ひなみ沢の人間にはわかる。ひなみ沢の人間の犯行だという証拠があるんです。
Shion rebukes me to keep my voice down.
ごめん。でもその証拠って一体。
必ず一人が死んで、もう一人が消えるからです。
One more person disappears. Does that mean that someone besides the one who died from the curse was a sacrifice?
消えるって意味がよくわからないな。
鬼隠し。
それは失踪するって意味か？
そうです。忽然と跡形もなく。
As she spoke, Shion prepared to do a trick with her hands, like she were making a magician's hat disappear. One dies a mysterious death and one disappears, never to be seen again. A strange vanishing act. But then why? How does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit?
実はね、ひなみ沢の古い伝統の一つにね、お社様の怒りを鎮めるために生贄を捧げたという。
生贄？
ええ、すまきにされて底なし沼に生きたままじわじわと時間をかけて沈めたんですって。
Hakano-san, though explaining something pretty terrible, has a look of glee on her face as she did so.
文献を調べた限りでは3日3晩をかけて本当にゆっくりとじわじわと沈めたそうよ。ほら、昔の人って結構ダジャレが好きでしょ。沈めるをかけてたんだと思うの。だから時間をかけて沈めるという意味があったんでしょうね。
Hakano-san was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? Shion didn't move to deny it, but I felt the difference in temperature between her cold expression and Takano's.
この辺の話はまあ聞いて想像がつくと思いますけど、ひなみ沢の秘史です。ひなみ沢に昔からいる人なら誰でも知ってますが、それを口に出すことはありませんね。
高野さんはひなみ沢出身じゃないけどね。詳しいだろ？
Oh, so Takano isn't a hero? Oh, what the hell? I thought she was. We all thought that she was a Hinamizawa resident, but she's not. That's why she got disappeared. That explains it.
彼女は郷土史とか民間伝承とかが好きでね。全部独学で調べたんだよ。
Because we never got validation whether she died or not, right? We only saw that she was just gone. She wasn't at work either, and then talked about her being gone as well. So, okay.
そんなにかっこいいものじゃないのよ。単なる知的好奇心。子供と同じよ。
Curiosity killed the cat, woman. Yes, sir.
ただの怖いもの見たさ程度なんだから。
Mutakasa laughed a little bit embarrassed.
ちょっと待ってください。ってことは何ですか？事件のたびに消えるという一人は生贄に捧げられているって言うんですか？
Yeah, Shion answered in one word before anyone else can speak. Someone dies and someone disappears.
本当に生贄にされてるかどうかは別にして、過去の事件では必ず一人が死ぬ他に一人が消えてるんだよ。例えば一番最初のダム現場の監督が殺された事件も、複数犯のうちの最後の一人が未だ逮捕されてないらしいんだ。
I think that whole damn site manager getting killed was just a setup to start this whole curse thing, to keep people outsiders out of the Hinamizawa, to scare them.
それは
And now they just have to
う
perpetuate
まく逃げ合わせてるだけ
the
なんじゃ
one
ないんです
kill,
か？
one disappearance every year to keep it going, to keep people out.
別に生贄にされたというのとは違うのでは？
まあ僕もそうだとは思うんだけどね。で、次の年のダム推進派の
確か旅行先で
落ちたのは奥さんも一緒らしいの。警察は懸命に捜索したんだけど、どうしても奥さんの遺体だけ崖下の川は増水してたそうだからね。どこか川下の湖の湖底で土砂にでも埋まってしまったのかもしれないけどね。
Perpetrator of the dismemberment like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they'd be desperate to run away and hide too. I thought I'd heard about cases where the corpses wouldn't surface after the person drowned in a swelled river like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still didn't see the connection to sacrifices. If you took each of the past incidents in turn, none of the disappearances evoked that terrifying of an image.
その翌年の神主の病死の時ははっきりしてます。奥さんが遺書を残したんです。死んでお社様のお怒りを鎮めに参りますってな感じのが神主さんが亡くなった晩に自宅に残されてたそうですから。
Curse, it seems to turn up in this one though.
まあ真相は闇の中なんだけどね。その奥さんが受水自殺した沼はさっき高野さんも話した例のでっかい底なし沼ってことになっててね。警察も沼を調べたそうだけど、遺品がいくつか見つかっただけで遺体は発見できなかった。警察は偽装自殺を疑って今でも探してるらしいよ。
Someone dies every year in the same way someone goes missing every year. Is she trying to tell me that everyone who vanished was kidnapped by some extremely efficient means and dumped into the bottomless swamp still alive and drowned to death? If it's bottomless, why don't the police just call scientists over to research it? See what's on the other side. But a curse? That's unbelievable in its own right.
その翌年にはなんだっけ、ダム推進派の男の弟夫婦の奥さんだっけが殺されたんだよな。
So at that time, someone else vanished.
消えました。北条聡君っていう私と同い年の男の子です。
Oh shit.
殺された主婦の義理の甥にあたります。
Shion cut in with a slightly strong tone of voice. She knew the boy who had disappeared pretty well. At least that's the vibe I was getting.
まあ、ざっとこんな感じね。 必ず一人が死んで必ず一人が忽然と消える。
Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact was that each incident involved one person disappearing.
じゃあつまり一人目が死ぬのはお社様のたたりで、二人目が失踪
I
するの
think
は
this is
村人が生贄に捧げてるからだって言うんですか？
at least a little bit better because we have Shion that's assisting and telling us, so we don't feel like we're being. And Mion was there when we were being told it, so like maybe Keiichi won't be as fucking stupid about it. First person who dies is because of Orishiro-sama's curse, and the second person who vanishes because.
ケイちゃん、たたりなんかないです。誰かがお社様のたたりという名で一人目を殺し、誰かがその生贄として二人目をさらってるんです。
でもシオン、それじゃあ村の中に犯人がいるってことになるんだぞ。
私は初めからそう睨んでます。結構ショックですよ。この昭和の時代にそんな古い因習で人殺しが堂々と行われるなんて。
It's your sister! It didn't have anything to do with our discussion, but I got the feeling that maybe Shion didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Mion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and its epic tales, so she had avoided talking about Oyashiro-sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light no matter how you looked at it. She was trying not to give me a bad impression of the village, so she didn't say anything. Shion, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of a curse to purge Hinamizawa of this bad impression, but rather because she strongly believed that a member of the village was the criminal behind this. Her conviction seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community held by the people of Hinamizawa. Once upon a time, they looked so alike you could mistake one for the other. But talking to her now, I was getting a powerful feeling that Shion had a completely different personality than Mion.
じゃあ皆さんはひなみ沢の誰かが犯人だと思ってるんですね。
Neither Shion nor Takano answered that. The deafening silence told me all that needed to
じ
be
ゃ
said.
あ重ねて質問します。
Stop asking questions, Casey. You're gonna die.
ひなみ沢の誰かが犯人なら犯人は誰なんですか？
Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I had hoped they wouldn't have one. The reason I asked was to argue that their explanation was that the culprit was from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave a pained smile at my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak.
私が言ったのは所詮状況証拠ですからね。具体的に犯人の名前を知ってたなら警察に突き出してます。
True, true. As would anybody. And what about Takano-san? She too smiled dryly as Shion had and opened her own mouth.
初めに誤解を解いておきたいんだけど。
Does that mean my
別
genjutsu?
に私は探偵さんのつもりはないのよ。本音を言うとね、犯人が誰かなんてことには興味ないの。
Oh, you're gonna be soon. You're gonna get killed, buddy
高
boy.
野さんも困った人だな。
Taka-san gives a bitter laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter.
私はね、古式ゆかしい残酷な風習やおとぎ話に興味があるだけ。
The W? Okay, she's a bit of a...
知的好奇心で面白がってるだけなの。だから一連の事件も犯人は誰かってことよりも事件の存在自体が古い因習がまだ根深く残ってることの証拠だって思って面白がってるくらい。
Is this a horror or a hentai game? It's a horror... thriller? I don't think it's a hentai game at all. I'm pretty sure there's no NSFW Higurashi, bro. Like, what? The main characters are all 14. Though she or like less than 14. Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Maybe it's just that I was fearful awe of the person whose emotion I couldn't comprehend.
ま、私は全然面白くないですけどね。明日はいよいよ綿流しのお祭りですけど、誰にも死んでほしくないし、 誰も消えてほしくないです。
明日か。
That's right. It had completely slipped my mind. The thing of murder incidents people attribute to Oyashiro-sama's curse, it wasn't over. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night at the festival, would someone die and someone disappear?
明日は一体誰が死んで
You!
誰が消えるのかしらね。
You and Tomitake. Takano-san said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements with a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. Then out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. They seemed to be ending the drinking party early. Right? I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? I should go back to her soon.
高野さんもからかいすぎだよ。圭一君がすっかり真に受けてしまったじゃないか。
ごめんなさいね。
If these two didn't say shit to Keiichi chapter 1, he would be alive and happy. You know? Playing fucking club activities.
また悪い癖が出ちゃったみたい。
Said Takano-san, sticking out her tongue bashfully. Strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found.
高野さんはね、純粋そうな子を見るとからかいたくなる悪い癖があるんだよ。圭一君が真剣に聞いてくれるもんだから、ついつい調子に乗っちゃったみたいなんだ。
Like Takano-san, Tomitake-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. They were apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they'd given me.
高野さんが今した話はあくまでもフィクションだからね。もしもさっきの話で圭一君がひなみ沢に持ってたいい印象が傷つけられてしまったなら、純粋に申し訳なく思うよ。
Too late. Mion's gonna fucking stab me with a syringe now.
もう、
Right
ジロ
after
ーさん
you.
ったら。
高野さんも謝った方がいい。怖がらせてしまってごめんなさいってね。
Takano-san and Tomitake-san were arguing and messing around now. The strained air around us had already dissipated.
ケイちゃんもそろそろ戻った方がいいです。お姉は嫉妬深いです。私は顔を合わせると喧嘩になりそうだから、このまま帰ることにします。
そうなのか？じゃあ俺はミオンのとこに戻って待たせたことを謝るかな。
This isn't good. Saint Honda, thank you for the raid. Hello, welcome raiders.
迷惑をかけたね、圭一君。ミオンちゃんに圭一君を長く借りすぎて申し訳ないと伝えてくれないかな。
Oh shit.
あ、はい。伝えても機嫌は直さないと思いますけど、一応。
Tomitake-san and Takano-san standing next to each other both began to chuckle.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。明日のお祭り、どこかですれ違えるといいですね。
会えるよ。どうせ俺たちのことだ。賑やかにやってるに決まってる。
Here we go. Let's go see what Mion's gonna say. Shion and I said our goodbyes to Tomitake-san and Takano-san before we could leave. Oh.
私の話を真剣に聞いてくれてありがとうね。
You bitch, I'm gonna die because of you.
前原くんがあまりに聞き上手だったんで、話しててとても楽しかったわ。
聞き上手なんて、そんな。
I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all the shocking topics being thrown at me, one after
今
another.
日した話、面白かった？
まあ、興味深かったです。
なら、また今度も聞いてくれる？
Nope, because you're gonna be dead tomorrow.
ひなみ沢の昔話とかおとぎ話にも興味深いものがたくさんあるの。
Oh, she's gonna be dead tomorrow. She
も
ain't
ち
gonna
ろん、
be telling
薄
shit.
気味悪いのがたくさんね。私特選のをたくさん披露するわよ。
I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch at my head.
圭一君、もう行ってもいいんだよ。高野さんがからかっているだけさ。
They say goodbye again and run off. I heard Tomitake-san call out behind him in a clear voice that we would see each other at the festival tomorrow. When I went to the tent, Mion was waiting for me and she was nowhere to be found. Oh shit, that's not good. I made her wait so long, maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passing by, I heard that she went home talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but my regret for having made Mion wait wasn't enough to triumph over the impression Takano-san and Shion's uncanny story left on me. Oh, brother, here we go again. Keiichi's dumb fuck. Alright, serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row. Would tomorrow's events make this the fifth? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizawa was carrying this all out under the guise of the curse. The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. I regretted it a little, though it was too late. If none of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, then I should have let Mion pull me away from that crowd. I felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. Oh, brother. Yeah, bro actually thinks he's the fucking detective. He thinks he's Sherlock Holmes and he's gonna fucking solve the problem. Oh, Mion's pissed. You know Mion's pissed. Scrapbook note 1, 2, and 3. What are these? Who's scrap note? Scrapbook. Oishiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onigafuchi village, the anger of Oishiro-sama, however, it is seldom stated anywhere what eventually happens and what sort of divine judgment befalls them when Oishiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outwards and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones invoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many of other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, and it's easy to imagine that they are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. The condition for inciting Oishima's wrath are likely the same as the taboos of Onigafuchi village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oishiro-sama was termed angry. In order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrifice ritual. Okay. So whose scrapbook is this? The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrifice ritual was a simple drowning involving plunging sacrifices into Onigafuchi swamp, which was considered hallowed. Of the ritual of Onigafuchi village, this one was unique in that the sacrifice would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of the sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism of them sinking as the submerging of Oishiro-sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, those methods were not recorded. My thoughts are that they may have used logs or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifice up with ropes, and let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implementations used for such a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. Where? Implementation used for the ritual. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies are often referred to as implements or ritual implements, and even now, some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the 3 families. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onigafuchi village. As the Edo era came to a close and many traditional rituals were they lost as well, or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the feast of Onikakushi and those used during... Wait, this is the first time we hear Onikakushi. They didn't say that. But okay. And those used during the sacrifice ceremony must still exist enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here today at this very moment in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain that they've been enshrined. What was once locked steadfastly has for some reason changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. He may be able to do something about such a lock. However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it even ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in him is always coming soon. Soon it will be Watanagashi. Oh, shit. Okay. I mean, is this Takano's book? Robber, robber, robber.
おいおい、明日は最後の最後。
Oh, it's a
バッ
police
チリ
station
深夜まで
shit.
燃え上がっていくんだからな。よっせ、気合い入れ。よ。
みんなお疲れさん。渡流しは今夜は早めに眠って体力を蓄えておいてくれよ。
Tomorrow is finally Watanagashi. Festivals are split into two groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. The former only need to prepare their minds, but the latter needs not only that, but also painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, will be strained the whole way through. Why?
そりゃ決まってるだろう。全部終わった後のビールがうまいからだよ。
At times like this, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way.
来ました。
Oishi-san came in. Everyone hurried to stand up.
はいはい、皆さんお疲れ様ですね。
お疲れ様です。
Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Oishi-san. Whose POV is this? We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. Karaudo Oishi, a detective just waiting to retire. One who doesn't pay much mind to the rules and regulations and doesn't do too much in the way of real work. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not have quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him.
皆さん、明日の渡流しの準備、本当にお疲れさんです。
Everyone present stands upright and lends their ears to the chief's
昨年
direction.
発生したように、連続事件を期待する愉快犯の出現が濃厚に危惧されます。各員、一層気を引き締め、犯罪の抑止のために任務を全うしてください。何も起こらなければ一番いいんですがね。必ず事件は起こると考えてくださいよ。抑止が一番ですが、まあ多分無理でしょう。今年も誰かが死んで誰かが消えます。もう間違いなく。
Oh shit. What's up, Boss Manthus? Hello. Everyone except the section chief smiled painfully.
おいさん、そんなんじゃ困るよ。もっと真剣にやってくれなきゃ。
肝心なのは祭りの夜を越すことじゃないんです。明日の夜起こった何かに迅速かつ徹底的にどこまでも食いついていくこと。気合い入れてくよ。兜の尾を引き締めてき。
Clench those cheeks.
お社様のたたりの化けの皮を完璧にひっぺかしてやるぞ。
Okay, okay. Alright, nothing really from these except for the fact that the scrapbook is sus, but we don't know who the scrapbook is from. Hang on, let me save. Alright.
本当に伝えたいのは違う言葉だった。本当に感じたいのは違う心だった。すれ違いが溝を生み、ためらいの気持ちが人を恐怖へと
This is
沈ませ
Rena, right? Yeah, this is Rena, not Mion.
もう誰も止められない。
This happened
冷
the
たい感
exact
情が
same way
むき出しの
last
心を
chapter.
深く残酷にえぐって
Right when we
い
were
く。
going into Watanagashi, we got this as well. Yep, here we
Watanagashi.
go.
なぜあの時とつぶやく後悔の言葉。それはもはや虚しい響きだっ
Did
た。
Rena voice this last time as well?
わあ、ケイチくんだ。おはようなんだよ。
Yeah? Okay.
だよ。
Rena was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy. Oh yeah, by the way, chat, for anybody that doesn't know, if you miss any of the Higurashi chapters, great, I just got fucking HSR leakers on my home feed, but anyways, you just have to go in here, FileMaster VOD, or search FileMaster Archive. We got everything from chapter 1 here, as well as all of the chapter 2 sections all here as well, so yes sir. You can even watch me play StarCraft and shit on all the Fobbits. Yes sir. Anyway, alright.
おはようって、もう夕方だぜ。こんにちは、だろ。
でも今日圭一君にする最初の挨拶だから、やっぱりおはようがいいな。いいな。
わかったわかった。じゃあおはようでいい。おはようレナ。
Do you know Oyashiro-sama? Yes, Hinamizawa. I kill you, you kill me. Yes, Hinamizawa.
Shut up! I grabbed Rena's head and rubbed it with my hand. She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat.
Yahoo, Kei-chan.
Fuck you, Rhino.
Get a real job.
54.
昨日は申し訳なかったね。黙って帰っちゃってさ。
I don't like this. They're both smiling at me.
ああ、それを言うなら俺の方が悪かった。ミオンをずっと待たせっぱなしでごめんな。
昨日のお祭りの準備のことかな。どうだったケイチ君、しっかりとお仕事してた？
The slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious.
頑張ってたよ。へばってたけどね。
I grinned dryly and the three of us break out into laughter.
サトコとリカちゃんは祭り会場で合流か？
うん、リカちゃんはほら大切なお勤めがあるから昨日からずっと。サトコちゃんもそのお供だそうだから、もう二人とも神社にいるよ。
Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As for her friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on.
よっしゃ、早速行こうぜ。
Or asked her friend. Mion hasn't said anything about last night. She's just kind of going with it. As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier too. I thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Are we gonna do club activities again? Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs.
ケイチ君早いよ。待って。
たくケイちゃん、お子様なんだからな。
Whoa, the shrine grounds, they were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one.
わあ、今年も立派だね。すごいね、すごいね。
南沢中から出てきてるんだろうな。ありゃ、君吉分家の寝たきりじいさんまで来てるじゃない。あのじいさん、去年の綿流し以降ずっと布団の中で過ごしてたんじゃないかな。
Yeah, there was a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have all been pouring in just for today.
あ、さとこちゃんだ。はーい。あら、皆さんでございますの。こんにちはですわ。
ようサトコ、今日はすごい人出だよな。はぐれて迷子になるなよ。
誰が迷子になるんですの
Satoko too seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way.
あれ、リカちゃんはまだ自由時間でしょ？リカは村長さんたちと挨拶してましたですわ。すぐに来るでございますわよ。
You see, Rika-chan is a shrine maiden for today's festival. After all, it's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders.
実に大変なのですよ。こんにちはなのです。リカちゃん、お持ち帰り。
Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh out of the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance.
どう？丈とか長すぎない？ バッチャからもしも袖がかかるようならって安全ピンを預かってきてるんだけど。
大丈夫なのです。
I don't like the fact that Mion hasn't talked to us
実に
about
快
anything,
適な
but
の
I
で
guess
す
she's
よ。
not the one to be direct. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches.
いいね、いいよね、これかわいいよね。
There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move.
ケイチ君は可愛いと思わないかな。思わないならレナのになっちゃうからお持ち帰り。
すごく可愛いと思うぞ。かなりカス。不敬のふりをして写真を撮りまくりたいくらいだ。2点から撮影して立体視できるようにすれば、立体の生リカちゃんが自宅でいつでももとい眺め放題。
What the fuck?
いいねいいねいいね。
Freak? Rena's eyes and mine glittered with stars as her noses bled and we drooled.
リカ、あいつらに近寄ると大変ですわよ。地下室とかに閉じ込められるかもしれないのです。
その割にはリカちゃん楽しそうだけど。
ミーがひどいことを言うのですよ。
We all laughed together again.
じゃ、もたもたしないで祭りを回るかね。リカちゃんの出番までそう時間がないでしょ。
そうだな。よっしゃ行こうぜみんな。
よー、園崎のお嬢ちゃんじゃねえの。食ってきな。豚肉たっぷりの焼きそばだぜよ。今年はイカリングまで入ってるボリューム派よ。
へい親父、今年の焼きそばもなかなか力作じゃないの。イカまで入れるとは今年は奮発してるね。
No club activities.
美味しいね。
ああ、イカってのは食ってもうまいが、それ以上に匂いが香ばしいんだよな。軟弱になりがちな歯ごたえも実に見事に補ってる。
Don't fucking mask this game. I'm telling you, we're literally just gonna go through this shit and then Tomitake's gonna be dead.
イカと豚肉のボリューム
Although
感
I wonder
は
how
実に素晴ら
Shion's
しい。
gonna get involved here.
うん、
Unless
悪くないで
Shion
きた。
instead dies and someone else disappears.
へえ、ケイちゃんって何気に料理番組の司会とかに向いてるね。
No, there's no way they would
ケイチ
disappear
君が美味しそうに食べてると、
or kill
な
their
ん
own
だかいつ
sister,
もより
right?
もずっと美味しそうに感じるもんね。
俺はうまいものはうまいっていう主義なんだよ。だから俺がうまいっていうものはとりあえず試してみる価値があると思うぞ。
ではケイチ、この焼きそばの評価を改めてどうぞなのですよ。
一言で言うとだ、うまい。胃袋がもう一つあるんなら迷わずもう一つ買ってるな。
Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand.
お、すごいよ。
Fucking microphone.
ケイちゃんがあんまりにも美味しそうに言うもんだから集客効果バッチリだわ。なるね。
It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Mm-hmm.
あら、そうなんですの。では私も挑戦してみましたよ。おじさん、たこ焼き一つくださいますこと。
Tatako bought a stick of takoyaki, balls of fried octopus from the adjacent stand, and after blowing on it, put one of them into her mouth.
どうかな、さとこちゃん。美味しい評価が出るならレナも買うよ。
Tastes like ass. Chomp, chomp, chew, chew, gulp.
さあ、料理評論家の北条さと子審査員のご感想をどうぞ。
Though she was all for it a moment ago, Satoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it into their mouths?
あれれ、レナのは外れだね。僕のも外れです。タコさんが入ってないのです。
Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus-free takoyaki stand? An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because they figured it would make them good money today?
あ、私のには入ってたわ。うん。タコが入ってる分には十分うまいよ。
このタコなしたこ焼きをどう美味しそうに解説すればいいんですの？
Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seem to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line.
こんなのはどうかな。たこ焼きなのにタコが入ってないからとってもヘルシー。タコの嫌いな人でも食べられる美味しいたこ焼き。
Is it? After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. It had the exact opposite effect.
じゃあ次は私が挑戦するよ。小麦粉やネギ、紅生姜の味などの素朴さをしっとりと味わわせてくれる自信作。
Who the fuck wants to eat that?
タコが入ってない分だけ素材の味が程よく。
It wasn't half bad, but after hearing that there's no octopus in it clause, even more people left the line.
リカちゃんは何かいいコメントはあるか？率直でいいぞ。
これで400円は高いのです。
Ooh. That was too honest. Even more customers leave the line, dealing a lethal blow. There were other takoyaki stands around after all.
いやー、なんか私らとんでもないことをしてるような。ほら、サトコ、あんたが始めたことなんだからビシッとここで逆転させなさいよ。
無理でございますわ。
Even Satoko has morals.
タコの入っていないたこ焼きなんてどう褒めればいいんですの？
Satoko's angry outburst was the finishing blow.
お客さんみんないなくなっちゃった。あれれ、おじさん睨んでる。なんでだろう、なんでだろう。
Sigh. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichi Maibara, will lend a generous hand.
ケイイチならきっとなんとかできますですよ。タコなしたこ焼き屋さんを助けてあげてほしいのです。
笑顔でトゲのあることを言うな。
Why the fuck is he selling takoyaki without any fucking octopus?
まあ分かった。俺がプロの技を見せてやるからよく見てろよ。
I shoved the stick into an octopusless takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it, but Mion had some in it. That was the important point.
このたこ焼き屋の親父さんは本当の意味でたこ焼きが好きなんだ。いや、愛してると言っていい。
Everyone gasped in surprise. He loves it so much he doesn't want to share it with anyone, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us.
あの親父さんは本当にたこ焼きが大好きなんだ。大好きだからこそいい加減なたこ焼きを作りたくないんだ。そうだね、親父さん。
Okay. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopusless takoyaki deserves such a high rating.
でもケイチさん、そんなにたこ焼きが大好きならどうしてタコなしたこ焼きなんか作りますの？たこ焼きに対する裏切りではございませんの？
True.
そうだな、ある意味裏切りだ。だがこれは親父さんにとっての親父さんは今日だって本当のたこ焼きを作ってるよ。でもそれはこの中のほんの一つか二つでしかない。
まあそうだね。私の食べた一つにはタコは入ってたし、タコが入ってる分にはそんなに悪い味じゃなかったよ。
そう、それが本物のたこ焼きだ。それ以外のたこ焼きは8個入ってなきゃたこ焼きじゃないという一般人の先入観への最大限の妥協なんだ。
ケイチ君の言う意味がわからないよ。
He's saying a whole lot of fucking dumb shit.
どうして本物は一つで他は偽物なのかな？
その秘密はタコにあるんだ。親父さん、このタコ本物の明石のタコだね。近年明石のタコの水揚げは激減してとても高騰しているんだ。たこ焼きなんかにとても使えないようなとても高い値段になってしまってるんだ。
And the man who had been looking down this whole time mumbled.
そうよ、明石のタコはすごく高いんだよ。
でも親父さんは 明石のタコにこだわったんだ。安物のいい加減なタコを使えばいくらでもごまかせるのに。明石のじゃないのに明石というのぼりを立てて販売してるインチキたこ焼き屋はいくらでもあるのに、親父さんはごまかさなかった。嘘をつかなかった。タコは明石。この一点だけを堅くなに譲らなかったんだ。親父さんはたこ焼きを愛してた。だから嘘をつけなかった。でもどうしても一点だけ強いられる妥協点があったんだ。
それは何ですの？
The number of takoyakis that an octopus in it.
数さ。たこ焼きってのは一船8個がポピュラーだ。いくら本物の明石のタコだからって言って400円で1個だけってわけにはいかないだろ。でも8個にしなくては買ってもらえない。だから親父さんは涙を飲んだ。本物のたこ焼きを一つ作るために残り7個に嘘をつくしかなかったんだ。
Oh, whoa! The octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clasped one of his shoulders.
みんなが何と言おうと俺はあんたの純粋さを忘れない。あんたこそは本物のたこ焼き屋なんだ。あんただけがたこ焼き屋を名乗っていいんだ。
Clap, 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 clap. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause moved by my
さあみん
speech.
な、この本物のたこ焼き屋のたこ焼きをどうか食べてやってくれ。こんな純粋な男を大事にしなくてどうして本当のたこ焼き道が守れようか。みんなが食わないなら俺が食うぞ。
Okay.
見てた人たちがみんな
How the
並ぶ
fuck
よ。
would that work? Why are people paying 400 yen for a glorified fucking flower ball?
たこ焼きが美味しそうに感じたってよりケイちゃんの味演説が面白かったからだろうね。ケイちゃんってガマの油売りとかやったらかなりウケるかもしれない。
Don't they do that on Chinese social media? Where it's like, oh my god, you buy this rock? Who knows? There might be jade inside. Oh, and then they fucking split it open. There's nothing in it.
スーパーの実演販売でもやればウケそうですよ。怪しい万能包丁とか売りつける仕事に向いてそうですよ
But
ね。
what if? Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me.
おいおい兄ちゃんたち、うちのあんず飴も頼むよ。
よし、要領はつかめただろう。今度はレナが行け。
よーし、頑張るよ。はあんず飴が冷えててとっても美味しいんだよ。水飴の上にね、ちょこってあんずが乗ってるの。はあ、お持ち帰り。はあ。
It looks like she lost herself in this midway through, but a girl giving it such natural praise was still bringing in some customers. A line was quickly forming behind Rena.
今度はお好み焼き屋だ。サトコ、行け。
焼きそばに揚げ玉入りでカリカリなのがとっても美味しいでございますわね。大きなベーコンが丸ごと敷いてあってかじるとほらピローンって出てきてはっはっはっ。
おお、うまいうまい。それなら俺も食ってみたくなる。
Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically all these onlookers are just following us around to all the stands. Almost like they're all minions.
みんなのを聞いてから食べるといつもよりずっと美味しく感じるからなのですよ。
So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib as she put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty.
よーし、おじさんも盛り上がってきたよ。よしケイちゃん、私はどれだ？
よっしゃ、ミオはさらにその隣の露店へ行け。ミオンの底力を
あれ？でもケイチくん、お隣のお店は。
Oops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of her element.
いや、部活の部長たるもの、相手が何であれ逃げられないね。やってみるよ。
ミオンさんのお手並み、拝見でございますわ。
The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes.
いらっしゃい。
はいよ、アミットは。
Oh shit. She's gonna fail.
よし、やるぞ。金魚はみんな生きがいいね。
Oh no.
実に美味しそう。この小さいのなんかそのままボリボリと生でいけちゃうよね。
Mutter mutter?
ミオンさんは何を言ってるんでございますの？みーちゃん、食べてたの？去年レナからもらったのも食べちゃったの？
違う。私そんなこと言ってない。
At Shion! Mion's face went red and she shook it vehemently in
いや
denial?
でも今ミオン、お前自分で言ったぞ。実に美味しそうだって。
ええ、確かに言いました。
Bro, we gotta get rid of this bitch. Nah.
お姉って雑食ですから口に入れば何でも食べちゃうんです。
美味しいなら今度僕も試してみるのです。
No? Don't do that.
ダメだよリカちゃん、お腹壊しちゃうよ。
Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here?
はーい、ケイちゃんにお姉にみんなこんばんは。あんたどこから湧いてきたの？しよう。焼きそば屋さんの時からずっとです。お姉たちは騒がしいからすぐに見つけられます。もうあんたは関係ないでしょ。早くどっかへ消えなさいよ。もうお姉もあまり私を邪険にしないでくださいね、ケイちゃん。私が一緒でもいいですよね。
Whoa, 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 whoa! Yo, back up! Not in front of Mion. Bounce!
ケイチ君、鼻血出てるよ。
Oh no.
ところてんを押したらニューって出てくるだろ。あれと同じだ。これは抗いようのない現象なんだよ。
へえ、そうなんですか。じゃあ力を入れたらもっと出てくるかな。ギュッ。
Shion's, her cleavage, it's right up against my chest. Drip? Oh no, Mion. Mion's getting cucked again.
シオン、あんたこら何やってんの？不潔ですわ。見損ないましたよ。
Oh shit, Satoko doesn't like her either.
僕の平らなお胸ではどうなのです？
Ooh. Rika-chan claps onto my other arm too. Rub. Plentiful, plump feeling on my left shoulder and the sour sensation of a young, unripe fruit on my right. What are you saying, Keiichi? Huh? How? Boom boom bang, Shion, Rika-chan and I, our faces now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled.
よくやったレナ。
みんな不潔なんだよ。レナに殴られたのです。痛いのですよ。リカは自業自得でしたよ。
Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us has increased by 120%.
お姉の友達は実に愉快です。退屈しないな。ああ、そう。あんたさえいなくなればもっと愉快なんだけどね。もっと一緒にいたいけど、あんまりケイちゃんを誘惑すると本当にお姉に噛みつかれちゃいそうです。だから私一時退却しますね。また来ます。じゃあね、お姉。二度と来るな。塩負けしよう。
After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared.
なんだか珍しいミオンさんを見た気がしますわ。しーちゃんが一緒だとみーちゃんなんだかかわいいね。
Rena smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Mion.
アホなこと言ってんじゃないよ。次行くよ、次。
We went about just like that, really noisy and lively to the other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Thump. The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Oh, it's time.
リカ、そろそろ時間みたいでございましたよ。あ、いよいよなんだね。
Right, it's just about time for Rika-chan to appear in the offertory dance.
ちょっとドキドキしてるのです。
信じなって、リカちゃんが流してきた汗は絶対に無駄になんかならないから。
Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back.
そうですわ。リカはきっとやり遂げますわ。頑張るのですよ。その息だよ。
I balled my hand into a fist and raised it into the air.
応援してるぞ、リカちゃん。ファイトオンだぜ。
ファイトオン。
Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off.
じゃあ私たちも行こうよ。
そうだな。応援してやろうぜ。
Well, at least this festival, Keiichi isn't like, you know, he's fine.
ダメですのよ。演舞中は静かにしていないといけませんでございますわよ。
I got it, geez. I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end.
なら急いで行かないと。
I'm assuming tomorrow Tomitake is dead, right? And then fucking Oishi-san approaches Keiichi and then the loop starts again.
いい場所がなくなっちゃうよ。行こう。
But like something has to be different, right? No way they just do the same shit again. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. Unless they catch on, Shion catches on that it's Mion this time, and then there's like an altercation. A large amount of people had already clustered into a tight space to watch the edifying dance.
こりゃすごい人出だな。
Turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. Definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated, no big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. Oh no, he's gonna meet Tomitake. Didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of the people in front of me though. Thump. Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on stage with the elders who were in priestly garb. I heard low exhalations of admiration and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using a mochi pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan had seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down, it was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved, raised, and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulder right now. Damn, why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her.
ケイちゃん、こっちこっち。
Oh no, don't. Shion, don't do it. Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of.
なんだなんだ?
黙ってついてきてくださいね。
After she told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so that I wouldn't be left behind. As I wandered in anticipation what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around the back of the back of the shrine grounds.
おいおい、どこ行くんだよ。
Discord? Hmm? Oh my goodness. Lily's getting more Dodi merch. What is this? Why is she printing so much Dodi merch? He's not a Papillon! Yeah, okay, it says parentheses rat terrier, but yeah. Alright. Zoom in, I see it, but still, it shouldn't say Papillon, period.
これじゃどんどん離れちゃってるぞ。
黙ってついてくればわかりますから。
Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people and not much moonlight. It was dark. We had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here?
どこか高いところがあるんだな。屋根の上とか、そういうところから見下ろそうって言うんだろ
はい？なんで屋根に登んなくちゃいけないんです？
だってそうじゃなかったら、どうやってリカちゃんの演舞を見るんだよ。
She doesn't care about the dance.
リカちゃまの演舞なんか見たかったんですか？ケイちゃん、ひょっとしてストライクゾーン、ものすごく低くありません？
なんだか話が微妙に噛み合わないぞ。お前は俺をリカちゃんの演舞がよく見える場所に案内してくれるんじゃないのか？
はい？誰もそんな約束してませんよ。
True. What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it?
じゃあ、お前は俺をなんで
Do you
こんな
want me
ところ
to
に呼
print
び出したん
40
だ
bags
よ。
for a meet and greet? I feel like shirts are better, no, than bags? I think shirts are better. I think shirts are more universal. No, bags are good too? You decide, babe. Shirts are $29, bags are $15. Okay, I mean, okay, go with what you want. $29 seems a little expensive. Maybe just go with the bags. With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, she pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds. Now a male and female of the same age are all alone together." Could this be? She's not planning something crazy again, is she?
あれを見てください。
Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbush. And there we saw two figures, one male and one female. Are we gonna witness their murder? No, but they got murdered way after.
なんだありゃ。まさか。
相敵の生現場に決まってるじゃないですか。ほらほら。よくあれ。誰だかわかります？
Peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitaka-san and Takano-san. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there, as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building.
まさかシオン、これを見せたくて俺を呼んだのか？
ケイちゃん、リカちゃまの演舞は毎年見られるけど、こういうのは二度とお目にかかれませんよ。
I thought that Sonosaki's sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this, they seemed all too similar.
俺は帰るぞ。二度とこんなのに呼ぶなよな。
今動いたらバレちゃいますって。
At our noisy argument, Takano-san suddenly turned around.
あらあら、どなたかしら？
Keiichi, you fucking dumbass. We held our breath and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances and gave up and climbed out from behind a bush.
どうもこんばんは。お月様の綺麗ないい夜ですね。
あらあら、しおんちゃんに前原くんじゃない。こんばんは。月の綺麗な夜ね。
おやおや、ケイチ君も隅に置けないね。
Clear your fucking throat and talk properly, Tomitake. Why you sound like that?
こんなところで合いびきかい？だとしたら、僕たちとんでもないお邪魔をしちゃったかな。
Like, why does he have two VAs for his fucking lines, man? I'm so confused. You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Tomitake-san and Takano-san laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason.
ってことは、富武さんたちは相引きしてたってわけじゃないみたいですね。
それはもちろん違うよ。そういうロマンスも嫌いじゃないけどね。
What, did your balls drop mid-sentence? Like, just swapped.
残念だけど、あなたたちが覗き見したくなるような相引き現場じゃないのよ。期待に添えなくて申し訳ないわね。
相引き現場じゃなかったら何してるんですか？富武さん、今扉の南京錠をいじってませんでした？
Ooh, after she said that, I looked at the two of them again, and I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of a warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. Why?
バレちゃしょうがないな。僕たちが倉庫破りをしてたなんて内緒だよ。
Why?
内緒って、それ、泥棒ってことですか？
I demanded unthinkingly, just because of how absently Tomitake-san was grinning.
やあね。泥棒ってのは物を盗む人たちのことでしょ。別に私たちは物を持ち出そうとしているわけじゃないのよ。
へえ。じゃあ何のために鍵開けなんかしてるんですか？ここ開かずの西宮殿ですよね。古出家とほんの一握りの人間しか入ることが許されないっていう。
Forbidden storehouse? Took a few steps back at that and looked on the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built, removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened. It was built to be durable, giving it a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses.
ここはね、西宮殿といってね、西宮をしまっている倉庫なの。いえ、西宮を祀っている神殿と言ってもいいかもしれないわね。リカちゃんが奉納演舞で使っている祭事用の桑も今日までこの中にしまわれていたものよ。もちろん古出家の人間以外は汚れを持ち込むから立ち入り禁止の不可侵領域、聖域なの。
Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and terribly cruel grin at worst. This is literally the case of curiosity killed the cat.
私、ひなみ沢の昔語りや伝承を趣味で研究してるって言ったわよね。私の知的興味のさまざまな答えがこの中に詰まってるの。この中に入れるチャンスを今日までずっと待ってたんだから。
Chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot.
へえ。富武さんに鍵開けの技術があるなんて知りませんでした。
あ、よしてくれよ。僕だっていやいややってるんだよ。
付き合わせてしまってごめんなさいね。でも二郎さんのおかげよ。感謝してるわ。
やれやれ。でも高野さん、こういうのはこれっきりにしてくれよ。こういうところに黙って入り込むのはやっぱり気が引けるよ。
やっぱり二郎さんはいい人ね。
Clink, Tomitake-san undid the padlock and placed it to the side.
開いたよ。
ありがとう。いよいよね。
Takano-san gulped with an unusually excited air about her. She gave the heavy door a shove. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place without our shoes on, it feels like we could be punished somehow. Bro, nah, listen. These two deserve to die. The motherfuckers are doing, like, fucked up shit.
どう？あなたたちも共犯なんだし、せっかくだから一緒に見学しない？ひなみ沢の皮脂を埋める貴重な文化遺産の見物会よ。
Nah, Keiichi, you need to run.
今日だけの限定会館。
別に俺たち共犯ってわけじゃ。
面白いと思いません？
Oh god, Shion's gonna fucking get us killed.
ねえ、覗いてみましょうよ。
Shion said, predictably linking her arms with mine.
でも、これは絶対いけないことだよ。
Nah, bro, everybody on the screen right now looks sus as fuck. Oh no, definitely looks sus. Fucking Tomitake, you, like, why the hell did you, like, just not use sunscreen on one side of your fucking face?
神聖な倉庫なんだろ？西宮殿って言ったっけ？ますます勝手に入っちゃまずいよ。
私は一応園崎の人間ですから、この中にあるものはおおよそ想像がついてます。でもそれはケイちゃんにも見てもらいたいものです。
What's that supposed to mean?
俺に見てもらいたいもの？
Thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average void too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked door is open, though, I don't know about this.
面白くないって思ったら、ケイちゃんはすぐに出ればいいです。
Alright, Keiichi, this is where you leave and call Mion and save the day, and then everybody in the entire village will praise you as a hero.
きっと興味を惹かれると思いますけどね。
Tomitaka-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest. Okay, genuine question though. So, the entire police force is out, making sure they got everything locked down, but somehow they just, like, completely missed this part of the area, and just, nobody's over here, nobody saw these motherfuckers sneak out, nobody saw two kids just fucking, yup, just, everything's fine.
僕がここで見張っててあげるから、一緒に見てきてごらん。僕はあまり趣味じゃないけど。
Oh god.
ケイイチ君みたいな若い男の子には、
Don't you want to know
結
what's
構面
inside?
白いかもしれないよ。
Chad, it's like it's like forbidden knowledge, right? It's like pretend you're a child and you hear your parents going at it. Do you really want to know what's going on in there? Or you're just like, there they go again. Okay, let's just walk away. Or you're like, what are they doing? Like, they're wrestling? Oh, okay. He said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter.
富武さんはこの中に何があるのか知ってるんですか？
まあね、高野さんにたっぷり聞かされてるからね。
There's, chat, it's the balance between blissful ignorance or forbidden knowledge that could kill you. Would you prefer the forbidden knowledge or to remain blissfully ignorant? I call it being a pussy? Well, I think in Keiichi's case, I think he should be blissfully ignorant, given the context we have from chapter 1 that he's gonna fucking die, okay? Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Tomitake-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it, but he doesn't have this context, so I feel like he does. I feel like there's memories in the back of Keiichi's mind. Like, this is a second loop. And because there's the facts and things that have been said in chapter 2 that haven't occurred in chapter 2. And if chapter 2 is fully within its own context, then there's no way they would have said those things. Things like Rena, that wasn't in chapter 2 at all. Never said that in chapter 2. Things like Keiichi going to the nurse for a cold and seeing Takano-san there. That never happened in chapter 2 either. That was all chapter 1. So, having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter.
じゃあちょっとだけな。面白くなかったらすぐ出るぞ。
You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink.
決まったみたいね。じゃあ行きましょうか。二郎さん、留守番をお願いね。
What are we gonna see in there? Tomitaka-san waved his hands to see us off. Inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she'd brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room.
真っ暗だね。みんな転ばないように気をつけるんだよ。
ご心配ありがとう。じゃあ門番をよろしくね。ここ閉めるわよ。
Bro, this is like that shit. You know, the curse of Tutankhamun when they opened the fucking you know, the burial of Tutankhamun. Fucking a curse went out and everybody involved died. Takano-san smiled spitefully as if leaving Tomitaka-san out of something fun and began to close the door.
やれやれ。じゃあみんなゆっくり楽しんでおいで。
There was a low, heavy, loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had.
大丈夫よ。予備電池も入ってるアウトドア仕様なんだから。冷えたりなんかしないわよ。
Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door sealing away what was
ただ
within.
の倉庫なのに前室があるなんて変わってるでしょ。一度に1枚ずつ扉を出入りさせることによって西宮殿の中が外に見えないようにする工夫だと考えられるわね。
Takano-san explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here, huh? That, over there, it's... I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring clumsily attached to the wall.
これ明かりのブレーカーか何かじゃないですか？
I flipped the biggest switch I can find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old, bare light bulb. Everyone was scrunched up their face as a sudden strobe light brightness.
ダメです。
Before she even finished, Shion slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click, and the room returned to darkness with only the lantern for illumination.
ダメです、ケイちゃん。私たち、ここに忍び込んでるんですよ。
Yeah, idiot. They could see it from outside, lit up.
明かりなんかつけたら、バレちゃうかもしれないじゃないですか。
This fucking... Bro, Keiichi's like... Just... I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. It looked like she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light.
大丈夫よ。本当に一瞬だし。
All it takes is a moment. Takano-san remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us.
入りましょう。よいしょっと。
The even heavier door opened, and this time it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air, there was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hasn't been opened in years. The other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odor of a fish market. From how the sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. At the back wall of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object standing there looking down at us. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern.
あれがひなみ沢の守り神、お社様よ。
Okay, low-key, why is there torture devices all over the walls? Cages? What is going on here? Huh?
社にあるのよりずっと立派ですね。
Oyashiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land with a dam construction.
想像してたよりたくさんの細具が収められているようね。でも残念。どれもあまり手入れがされていないわ。状態が悪いのが悔やまれるわね。
Even in a dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the wall, ceiling, and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead, this was more like a workshop or a blacksmith or a carpenter. There were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there would be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away.
あら、面白くないかしら？
俺は文系でも美術系でもないんで、あんまりこういうのを見てもよく価値がわからないです。
圭一くんはよくわかってないみたいね。無理もないけれど。
Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook, and began to flip through it. Oh, so it was hers.
じゃあ、圭一くんのために昔話でも聞かせてあげようかしら。この地方では一般的な昔話よ。図書館に行けば、教育委員会推薦の本にも載ってるくらいにね。
Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place, she must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now and pretend to be calm.
いい？じゃあ、読むわよ。
After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book.
昔々、ある山奥の村にね、沼があったの。その沼はね、底なしの深い深い沼でね、地の底の鬼の国につながっていたんですって。
The rumor said that it was deeper than the ocean and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, a bottomless swamp. Its name was Onigafuchi. Wait, I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifice sinking into the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about?
ってことは、その村はひなみ沢ですね。
察しがいいわね。そうよ。当時は鬼ヶ淵村って呼ばれてたけどね。
鬼ヶ淵村、物騒な響きのある名前だな。
イメージもあったんでしょうね。明治の頃に今の名前に改称されたって聞きました。
The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamizawa, was Onigafuchi
村
Village.
人たちは鬼の国、つまりは地獄のことね。鬼の国とつながるという沼を崇めながら過ごしてきたの。でもね、ある日のこと。
Demons began to appear one after the other from deep in the swamp. Berserker? The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch with fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble.
で、誰かが鬼を退治するわけですか？
残念だけど、このお話には桃太郎みたいな正義の味方は登場しないわ。
じゃあ、村を挙げて戦うわけですか？
まさか。村人たちに鬼と互角に戦える力などあるわけもない。
So they worshipped it.
じゃあ、村を捨てて逃げるしかないですよね。
それも無理ね。村人たちにとっても村は大切な郷里だったから。どんな恐ろしい鬼が攻めてきたからといって簡単に逃げ出せるはずもなかったのよ。
じゃあどうするんですか？滅びるしかないじゃないですか。
Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama,
なるほ
descended
ど。
upon them.
つまり天からやってきたお社様が鬼たちをやっつけるわけですか。
Nope.
ケイちゃんは男の子ですね。すぐに腕力で解決する方に走るんですから。
Shion sighed a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue.
お社様はね、やっつけるとかそういう暴力的な神様じゃなかったの。もっと優しい慈愛のある神様だったの。
Strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight, they simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return.
鬼たちの世界にも厳しい戒律があってね。彼らは地獄を追放された鬼たちだったんですって。
Demons, who didn't have a place to go, neither in hell nor in the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were
村
sorry.
人たちも話を聞くうちに少しずつ気の毒になっていったわ。それでね、村のみんなで話し合った結果、鬼たちと一緒に住むことを決めたの。
退治するとか追っ払うっていう昔話は多いけど、
Maybe they
共存ってのは確かに珍しいで
reproduced
す
with
ね。
the demons, and now the new generations are like half demon, half human hybrids, and they're all fucking evil.
ですよね。鬼ってのは元来諸悪の象徴のはず。それとの共存を決めたというお話なんだから、本当に変わってます。
When the demons first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of powers and secrets with the villagers.
お社様はその微笑ましい交流をとても喜んでね、鬼たちが村人と分け隔てなく暮らせるよう人間の姿を与えたんですって。そして自らも地上にとどまり、末永く両者の交流を見守ることにしたんだそうよ。
A land in which man, demon, and God lived together. I thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. I see, I guess it is kind of interesting.
普通のおとぎ話ならここで終わりなんだけどね。このお話は江戸時代にだいぶ加筆されたみたいで、まだまだ続く随分と長い話になってるわ。
After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. I knew it.
鬼の存在は結局村に溶け込んで消えてしまったということですか。
Nope. Everybody in Hinamizawa is a half demon, half human hybrid.
いいえ、消えたりなんかしないです。半分はしっかりと残ってたそうですよ。
The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people call transcendent. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and as those below worshipped them, they lived out their lives in secrecy.
このお話がね、その後に派生するたくさんの昔話、フィクションの原点になってるの。だからこのお話がベーシックね。
原点ってどういう意味ですか？
村人たちは鬼の血を引いている。つまりこの辺りに伝わるさまざまな伝承や昔話は全部その村の人たちは鬼の血を引いているというのが前提になっているんです。
There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in her. Is there any proof though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond a just fairy tales.
あら、じゃあ前原くんは沼から鬼が現れて人間と交わったっていうのは本当にあった出来事だって信じてるのかしら？
信じないわけじゃないんですけど。
When she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use of involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different: their physique, their faces, and their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoked images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue too. A handful of accidental... Well, you heard it here first from Higurashi. White people are aliens. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, turn into bandit groups, and attack villages for food and the like.
なんて説はどうでしょう。ちょっと子供じみてますかね。
Takano gave me a weird smile that when, having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it up with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me.
別におかしくないわよ。実際に漂流異人説を唱える人もいるもの。でも実際はどうなのかは誰にもわからない。山賊化した異人の集団だったのか、本当に地の底から来た鬼たちだったのかね。
じゃあ高野さんはどっちを信じてるんですか？
真相は別にして、夢のある方を信じたいわね。その方が面白いでしょう。
Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist. Here I thought she'd rejected unrealistic stories like that.
さて、いよいよここ面白くなるのは。
Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling and waits for a moment as if to tantalize us.
Huh?
Suddenly, Shion looked around as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro like she was making sure nothing had changed.
どうしたシオン？
ごめんなさい。気にしないでください。
Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject.
村人たちに半分鬼の血が流れてるのは話したわね。実はその血なんだけど、鬼は鬼でも人食い鬼の血なんだって言われてるの。
人食い鬼ですか？急に物騒な響きになりましたね。
その血は今でも村人たちには脈々と流れていてね、時折その血が眠りを覚ますと言われてるわ。
I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending with the humans and demons living in peace, but it began to suddenly change into a brutal, bloody story.
人食い鬼だから何十年かに一度、どうしても人肉が食べたくて仕方がなくなる周期があるんですって。だからって村人同士で共食いするわけにはいかない。だから彼らはその度に人里へ降り、鬼隠しをしたと伝えられてるわ。
何ですか？鬼隠しって。
平たく言えば鬼たちによる誘拐行為よ。鬼ヶ淵村の村人たちが人里に押し寄せ、哀れな生贄を無理やり力ずくでさらったんですって。
Takano-san's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers return into real demons en masse. They attack the villages they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below, and then they kill and eat their sacrifices.
それじゃあ鬼と何ら変わりないじゃないですか。お社様はどうしたんです？その村にとどまって人々を見守ってるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
もちろんお社様も了承してたそうよ。だから鬼隠しは無差別ではなく、神様が決めた生贄以外には誰もさらわなかったらしいし、ほとんどの場合は一人か二人だったって記されてるわね。
Village inhabited by those human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode colors had inverted like negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth.
そうして生贄をさらってきた夜にはね、哀れな犠牲者をおいしくいただくため、 綿流しの儀式が開かれたという
わ。Watanagashi. Tonight's festival was Watanagashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano-san was telling me.
綿流しは確か冬の間に使った布団なんかに感謝するお祭りじゃなかったでしたっけ？
ケイちゃん、綿って言いません？臓物のこと。
Shion, who had been silent up until now, spoke
綿？
up.
そういえば言うな。魚の綿っていう。え？
Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind.
綿流し。
Gut spilling. I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating.
そう、前原くんの想像している通りよ。今でこそ綿流しは毎年6月に行われるちょっと早い夏祭りに過ぎないけど、哀れな食材をさらってきた夜にだけ開かれた凄惨な人食いの宴のことだったの。
嘘だ。
I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it.
前原くんはさっき綿流しは布団を清める儀式だと言ったわね。綿が詰まった布団って何を意味してると思うかしら？
布団は布団だろ？シング、寝るための道具だよ。他に何の意味があるんだよ。
I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano-san was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons stuffed with cotton. If the cotton represented entrails in both pronunciation and meaning, then entrails-filled futons would have to be humans.
では、リカちゃんがやった奉納演舞を思い出してちょうだい。リカちゃんがあそこで何をしていたか。
わからねえよ。第一、リカちゃんの演舞は最後までちゃんと見てないし。
ケイちゃん、エキサイトしすぎです。
Shion grabbed one of my ears, reminding me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still can't suppress this agitation I feel.
リカちゃんが持っていた祭事用のクワ、もううすうすは気づいてると思うけど、あれは田畑を耕すクワではなくて、
Shit, it's for ripping open people's stomachs.
人間の腹をこじ開けるための解剖道具なのよ。
Oh shit. Okay. Takano looks a little fucking goofy. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I'd left. When I told this to Takano-san, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said after what I'd seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out one bit at a time and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it
平
was.
たく言えば、魚の綿を取り出して三角コーナーに捨てるのを仰々しく儀式仕立てにしたってこそれで儀式はおしまい。その後はそれぞれの役割を持った村人たちがおのおのに肉を解体して美味しくいただいたって考えられてるわね。
Takano-san's strangely happy giggle, I felt for some reason violent displeasure. Rika-chan, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice pudding mallet into the schoolyard and she worked so hard, sweating bullets to practice for the offertory dance she had done today. All that effort, all that work, Takano-san disgraced it. Even though she worked so hard to practice for today.
高野さんももう少し言葉を選んでほしいです。ケイちゃん、ナイーブなんですから、あまりからかわないでください。
Keiichi, can you grow the fuck up? Shion's fucking the same age as you, and she's like 10 times more mature, you fucking child. A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me
ご
feel.
めんなさい。男の子だから、ショッキングな話は結構好きかと思って。
Nope, he's a pussy. Okay, he got beat up by a bunch of fucking anime weebs. Takano-san spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully.
この辺まで話を聞けば、ケイちゃんにもこの西宮殿の中にどういうものがあるのか理解できるようになってきませんか？
As you, I've never been beaten up by anime weebs.
ほら、
Shion pointed out one of the walls vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was, mere moments ago, they hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. All those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use, they all suddenly took on a new meaning, and I couldn't help but let out a groan. At first, they had looked like carpentry tools like chisels or planes. However, when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these sorts of tools before. Yeah, they came up in Japanese history textbooks. Yes, on the page introducing the Kaitai Shinsho or the new text on
こう
anatomy.
いうのはね、医学の本場、ドイツの文献の方がリアルに掲載されてるわよ。
These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, therefore dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. The things hung up on this wall all look exactly the same as those.
もっと怖い言い方をするなら、調理道具といったところかしらね。
Takano-san, holding a lantern, the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not.
ほら。
Takano-san illuminated a coiled chain which left a bigger impression than the others we saw. The chain itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people.
ケイちゃん、あれ。
Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. Bro, I saw this shit in PoE too. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was turning into sherbet? What the fuck? How do you say? As it crawled up my back. Isn't it sorbet? Is it sherbet? I don't fucking know. I thought it was sorbet. It's definitely not spelt that way, is it? I have no idea. Okay. Depends? Okay. Bro said sorbet. Sorbet is food? Okay, but like, I thought it was like cold, you know? So like, it went up his spine, alright? On each of the joints, there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in.
まな板じゃないかしら。犠牲者を拘束してこの台の上でお料理をしたんだと思うわね。
The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it as though from a knife or a saw. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. It proved these tools weren't just for show, they were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless, so you'd take one of those eerie cooking knives lined up over there and stab them with it. And then you'd slice open their belly and dissect them.
話には聞いてたけど、すごい。
For coming in here, Shion had mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seems to have exceeded her imagination.
まだまだあるわよ。どう？老人形館より面白いでしょ。
Takano-san had this happy expression like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person has nerves of steel. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank, this was all too weird for me. Bro, Takano's one of those people who, if demons actually came to come eat her, she'd be like, yes, feast upon my flesh. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all this. That would be none other than Takano-san herself. Takano-san holding a lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light. If she suddenly turned it off, then what would I do when the next moment everything went totally dark? That's why I was scared. Takano-san had only light, and anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally here and now. Before we had even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones made to take away sacrifice's freedom, and some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. If that was the goal, then the person who you used them on would obviously end up dead. The kind of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were tools for torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, they might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die during such a horrifying ritual process, that would be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Only now in this moment that I fully realized just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was.
人ってね、上手にやると結構殺さずに済むものらしいの。
Takano-san, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking
魔女なり
smile.
で有名な家系。火あぶりなんかはすぐに死んじゃうのよ。全身の皮膚が広範囲にわたって重度の火傷を負うと、組織の分解産物で中毒症状を引き起こし、まあ確かにそれに至るまでがギロチンなんかに比べればはるかに長いところに残虐性があるんだけど。
She described such horrors in a strangely medical way. Shion immediately answered a question I had.
高野さん、看護師さんですから。
There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true.
ところがね、ローマの時代の処刑方法にね、網焼きというものがあ
Grill
っ
the
たの。
person.
バーベキューと同じにね、金網で挟みつけて炭火でじっくりと焼いたんですって。
To think the memories of when I went to day camp with my family would come rushing back now of all time so vividly. Bro, I would not trust this crazy bitch to be my nurse. Fucking every time she's probably coming in, be like, time for your shot. She's hovering over me, just imagining fucking killing me.
これだとね。
Hey, Suadudu, thank you for the 26. Hello, hope you're doing
ど
well.
ういうわけか、なかなか死なないらしいのよ。ものの本によると、一昼夜かけて片側が炭化するくらいこんがり焼いても、まだ意識があって流暢に話をしたなんて記述も出てくるから。
Said that ancient Rome, famous for their executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as
そ
possible.
の中にね、お腹を開いて腸をウインナーみたいに引っ張り出してウィンチで引っ張り上げて晒し物にする系があったんですって。
Shion was behind me, clinging to me, not just because she was scared, she was protecting her
臓
stomach.
物を引っ張り出すなんて聞いただけでもすぐに死んじゃいそうでしょ。でもね、丁寧に優しくやるとね、意識がはっきりとした状態のまま腹渡を引きずり出すことって可能らしいのよ。
I mean, I guess if they don't bleed out and you keep the intestine intact, then you're just technically like, it's like uncoiling a garden hose. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were coiling up just from Takano-san's stare.
ウィンチで引っ張り出すっていうのはなんだか大行な方法だけど、もっと野蛮に裂いた腹から臓物をちぎっては投げちぎっては投げという、そんな恐ろしい系もあったんじゃないかって十分に考えられない？
Yo, how the fuck are they not done with that dance? Like, can they fucking hit that drum and wrap it up? Like, can we just leave already? Jesus fuck, man.
でも処刑者には意識があるの。それは痛い以上に恐ろしい体験なんでしょうね。
She spoke with pleasure as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip. Nah, listen. Tomitake and this bitch both deserve to die. Like, can we just wrap it up? Come on, kill him. I heard Shion gulping multiple times near my ears.
ひなみ沢の、いえ、鬼ヶ淵村の渡流しもそんな感じだったのかしらね。ほら、耳を澄ませば聞こえてくるような気がしない？
I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? Takano-san, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk again. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano-san along on her field trip through the ritual storehouse.
これで軽く一周できたかしら？ね、面白いところでしょ？
She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason, it felt like I was able to see all the horrible tools at once. Shion stammered again while grabbing the nape of my neck. Oh my god, she's gonna stab it. We're a titan. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there were a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well. They all looked like they were made of iron bars, but then I figured it out. Cages. For cages, they were very small. Cramped cages just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there, no, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many big and large things of all shape were hanging down. Takano-san's mention of execution with my grilling crosses my mind. We weren't just surrounded on all sides by these terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads.
ヨーロッパの拷問道具にこういった鳥かごがたくさん登場するわね。日本にもあったなんて驚きだわ。
ケイちゃん、あれ中に入ってない？人？ミイラ？
え、どれ？
Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was there in the first place.
私には何も見えないけど、見間違いじゃないの？
Shion didn't seem convinced, but without means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder.
これで前原君にもなんとなく信じられるようになったんじゃないかしら？ひなみ沢に伝えられる恐ろしい儀式の数々が。
It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts in the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past, no more than a series of historical events, and in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinamizawa as
中世
well.
の暗黒時代とかがそうだったように、そういうものなんだと解釈します。本当にひなみ沢でこういう恐ろしいことがあったのだとしても、それは大昔の出来事なんです。今暮らしているひなみ沢の人々とは何の関係もないことです。
前原君は本当にひなみ沢が好きなのね。
It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano-san gave me a light smile.
でも高野さんはその風習が実は現代にも残っているんじゃないかと思ってそうでしたよね。
Shion suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. You're telling me that all these horrible things are still going on even today?
これ本当に内緒なんだからね。シオンちゃんは理解のある人だから話したけど、他の村人には聞かれたくないの。下手をしたら罰当たり者ってことで袋叩きにされかねないんだから。
Shion flashed a devilish smile as reveling in the immorality of it.
前原君も内緒にしてね。知られたら私、お社様のたたりに会うか、生贄にされちゃうかするかもしれない。
Oh, you already do. You're dead.
たたりなら、今年はどんな死に方をさせられちゃうのかしら。生贄なら、鬼ヶ淵の沼に生きたまま沈められちゃうのかしら。
Yup, you will.
そういえば今夜よね。
Yup, tonight.
お社様のたたりがある夜は。
Takano-san said, bringing her face right up close to ours, as if to say that if she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. That's what I'm saying, bro. Look at this. She clearly is the type of person that she'd like welcome this shit. She's a freak. Takano-san took a fairly worn notebook out of her paper bag, then began to flip through its pages. There were all sorts of references and newspapers clippings attached to them, and it had all manners of things written inside. The letters were very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was about.
本当は国会図書館で当時の新聞を探したいんだけどね。ほら、ここ。
Photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was about just by
これ
glancing
は
at it.
実際にあったお話よ。明治の終わり頃にね。
Yo, how are we telling like 4 stories during one fucking dance? Like, unless Rika's doing like a fucking 3-hour goddamn opera. Like, what's going on here, man?
鬼ヶ淵村で身元不明の惨殺死体が
And
発
Rika's
見され
like,
たんです
please,
って。
can I stop dancing? Are they done telling stories in that fucking warehouse yet? The old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale.
当時の警察の資料がほとんど残ってないそうだから、口伝と記憶によるものだけなんだけどね。ほら、これ不鮮明だけど、明治の頃の新聞の切り抜きみたい。
Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Near the end of the Meiji era, in an old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult.
どういう状況かわかるかしら？
Couldn't imagine such a strange sight even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination.
被害者は生きながらにして全身の皮を剥がれ、そして死後にもさらに遺体を分解解剖と残虐の限りを尽くしたのではないかって筆者は見ているわ。私はどの工程も生きているうちにやったんじゃないかって思ってるんだけどね。前原君はどう思うかしら？
She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. Ooh, maybe the thing in the syringe is like demon blood. And when it's injected into like normal human beings, it like makes them like, I don't know, makes them claw their own throat out. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then, when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, I just realized my food's been outside for 2 hours. Well, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce a mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era, with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools. And as if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently.
その薄気味悪い事件が何だって言うんですか？
筆者はね、 鬼ヶ淵村の恐ろしい習慣は明治以降の近代。ひょっとすると昭和初期くらいまでは残ってたんじゃないかって結んでるわ。
His corpse at a glance appeared to have been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange that it didn't even feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting
でも
it.
本当にあったとしたって昔のことですよね。明治なんて言ったらそれこそ100年くらい前の。
たった100年前のことよ。それにね、昭和に入ってからだってあるんだから、終戦直後に騒ぎになった人肉缶詰事件。
Canned flesh incident?
ごめんなさい。この話はタブーだったわよね。
Takano-san immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared.
今高野さんなんて言いました？人肉缶詰って。
Just then, there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomitaka-san who had opened the door slightly.
驚かせちゃったかな。
ここ素敵な拷問道具の宝庫よ。
僕は遠慮させてもらうよ。生来ね、こういうのは苦手なんだ。
Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. No, bitch, you're just a fucking psychopath.
それより演舞とセレモニーが終わってみんな沢の方に降りていったよ。あと何分もしないうちにお祭りは終わっちゃう。
あら、いけない。
Yeah, get the fuck out. Jesus Christ.
前原くんがあまりにも聞き上手だからまたお話三昧になっちゃったわ。
No, you're just a full-grown woman that likes scaring 14-year-olds. Are you happy? I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like
ジロー
this.
さんは表で待っててくれるかしら。私はちょっと写真を撮るわね。
Oh my god, this psycho bitch.
本当はいくつか道具を持って帰りたい
Alright,
んだけ
Keiichi,
ど、
you need to get the fuck
それは
out of
さす
here.
がに無理そうだからね。
Leave these two here. Let them die. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt.
ケイチ君も出るかい？
もう十分にしよう。もういいだろう。出ようぜ。綺麗な空気が吸いたいよ。
同感で出ましょう。
I did feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Nope. Soon as us two leave, they're about to barge in, fucking tie Takano-san to the fucking table and then chop her up. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Okay, you can't just switch to music like that. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place.
どうだい？面白かったかい？
Tomitaka-san gave a somewhat mischievous grin. He should have been able to tell by looking at how pale her face was.
富武さんと一緒に留守番をしてればよかったです。
Tomitaka-san laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings.
シオンちゃんはどうだったかな？怖かったかい？
一応心の準備があった分怖くでもやっぱり実物は迫力あります。
Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in way worse a state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomitaka-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself.
高野さんはおとなしく見物してたかな？
Nope, she's a fucking creep.
ほら、彼女子供っぽいところがあるだろう。宝の山を前にさぞや興奮してたんじゃないかと思ってね。
Well, Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer. Can we
言う
leave?
だけならいいんだけどね。こっそりと何かを持ち出したり、いじくりすぎて細具を壊したりしないかが心配なんだよ。
Get her out of there, bro. I'm gonna die. That's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket.
やりかねないです。
Shion said what I was thinking.
本当に何も壊したりしなかったかな。なんだかドタンバタンと飛び跳ねるような音がよく聞こえ、僕は不安で。
ごめんなさい。フィルムがなくなっちゃったわ。ジローさん、フィルムが余ってたら分けてくれないかしら。
No, motherfucker, we need to leave. What did you not understand about a couple minutes? Suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomitaka-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature.
もう予備のフィルムは切れちゃったよ。
Okay, good.
申し訳ないね。
もういついかなる時でもフィルムを残しておかないと決定的スクープ写真仕方ないわね。
Tomitaka-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano-san seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned to the heavy padlock we'd left beside it.
高野さん、何も持ち出してないだろうね。
失礼ね。そこまで子供じゃないつもりよ。
A clack, Tomitake set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all.
よし、僕たちも沢に行こう。綿を流すところくらいやらないとお祭りに来た意味がないよ。
Tomitaka-san spoke brightly, urging us all on. Sending Kant afloat down the stream, I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse.
もうこれっきりにしてくれよ。十分に知的好奇心は満たせただろ。
She needs to just get killed. Need to kill her now.
まさか。むしろ新しい興味を惹かれるような発見ばかりよ。今日のでこれまでの仮説が一気に現実になったわ。これで今後の調べ方がだいぶ変わってくるんだから。
Wow, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this through and through. Oh, new image. We descended the stone stairs and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, or then wishing upon the cotton and setting it to float down the stream. The festival was already over.
まず綿流しの一番いいところを撮影し損ねたよ。
あら、まだ遅くないわよ。私が行って流すんだから。私を撮ってはくださらないのかしら。
Takano-san, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomitaka-san's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomitaka-san, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman.
じゃあね、前原くん、しおんちゃんも。
僕たちは今からでも沢に行ってみるよ。君たちも一緒に来るかい？
まさかお二人の邪魔なんてできま。どうぞごゆっくり。
Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's. Tomitaka-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps.
疲れちゃいました。
同感だな。俺も疲れた。
ケイちゃんは綿流し初めてなんですよね。
Yup, and it's his last because he's gonna die.
私なんか気にしないで行ってきてください。私は疲れちゃったんで。 人混みはちょっとパスしておきます。
Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony.
お姉たちがケイちゃんのことを探してるかもしれません。行ってきてください。
あ、そうだ。ミオンたちと別れたままそれっきりだったな。探してると悪い。
Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret.
お姉ってすっごく嫉妬深いんです。 私がケイちゃんを独占してたことがバレるといろいろうるさいんで今夜のことは秘密にしておいてくださいね。
Oh, he can't, because Rena's actually been in her shadow the whole time. She's actually been with us the whole time. You just don't see her, because it's like that scene in Baki when the motherfucker just walks behind the prison guard the whole time, right? Rena's actually just been behind me the whole time, just nobody noticed. Don't say things that are so embarrassing.
そういう意味
Yeah,
だけじゃない
Retsu's
です
just
よ。
like, bro, Retsu and Rena are literally the same, just locked in perfectly. Moving. Not only because of that
今夜
either.
私たちがしたことを思えば秘密にするのは当然です。今夜起こるかもしれないお社様のたたり、私たち4人が最有力候補なんですからね。
The loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing.
じゃあ私はお姉に出くわす前に退散します。今日は本当に疲れてるから、お姉とやり合えるだけの体力はないですし。
シオンってミオンと仲がいいのか悪いのかよくわからないな。
仲いいですよ。
Though as she said that, her vague expression explained that there were a lot of oddities in the relationship between
俺は
twins.
一人っ子だからよくわかんないな。せいぜい仲良くしろよ。
はい、余計なおせっかいと承ります。それじゃあ私はこの辺で。ケイちゃんも急いで行った方がいいですよ。本当に綿流しが終わっちゃいます。
Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eye to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me.
でも本当に
Yo, you said you're leaving, just leave, mother bitch!
あの音は何だったんでしょうね。不愉快というか、気味が悪いというか。
何の音だって？
音ですよ。ドタンバタンって。うるさかったじゃないですか。
It's giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her
ごめ
too.
んシオン。はしょらないで最初から説明してくれないか。何がうるさかったって？
ケイちゃん、気にならなかったんですか？
When all said and done, it was like we were speaking two different
シオン、
languages.
冗談抜きで初めから説明してくれないか。音がどうしたって？
ケイちゃんこそ冗談抜きで、本当に気にならなかったんですか？
Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at each other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions and with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her and ask politely one
も
more
う
time.
一度聞くからな。質問は俺からだ。
Shion nodded
じゃあ
silently.
聞くぞ。音がしたって何のことだ？
How about you just say, I didn't hear anything. What sound are you talking about? Why don't we just like talk in complete sentences with like full facts on the like why do we just repeat the same dog shit questions?
ドタンバタンって。なんだかどこか遠くの板の間で子供が跳ねてるような。
Oh, true. Tomitake also said he heard jumping.
本当に気にならなかったんですか？
We didn't hear it though.
気にならないも何も。そんな音いつ聞こえた？俺は何も聞いてないぞ。
ちょっとケイちゃん、それ本気で言ってるんですか？
Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. It might mean that she and Tomitake might have been... It might be Shion and Tomitake that are targeted this time, and not Takano. Yeah, she's marked. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if she has Shion acting like... But if it has Shion acting like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine.
さっき最後殿の中で高野さんと一緒に見て回ってる最中、高野さんが昔話を始めた頃からかな、少しずつだんだんとちょくちょくと。
She heard a banging sound like a child jumping on distant floor.
嘘だろ？最後の最後で怖がらせるのはなしだぜ、おい。
I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening.
ケイちゃんこそ怖がらせないでください。なんだか高野さんの怖い話に合わせて音を立ててるようで、私ずっと薄気味悪かったんですから。
That's why she was hiding. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze over.
ケイちゃんも高野さんも全然意にも介さない風だったので、私も聞こえないふりをずっとしてましたけど。
It might be because... I won't say anything. Yeah, Takano-san weren't...
聞こえましたよね。
So yeah, Takano-san didn't hear it
何
either.
度かはすごく大きな音でしたから。
Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've got to be kidding, look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made the decision before I did.
なんだよ突然。
引っかかりましたね、ケイちゃん。嘘ですよ。嘘。
Nah, she's lying. Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial and actually made me feel worse. Then after leaving me with the two or three generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she had been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think about it, Tomitake said the same thing, didn't he? Oh.
なんだかドタンバタンと飛び跳ねるような音がよく聞こえたからね。僕は不安で不安で。
It's crazy if Shion dies, because that's Mion's sister. And she's from the Sonozaki family. Tomitake-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said he'd heard something. Then, that noise. It was real? That banging sound. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Oyashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. Most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomitake-san, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then all of a sudden I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch.
Keiichi, 見つけたなのです。
It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Rena were there too.
やっと見つけた。あとはさとこか。
今年はみんなはぐれちゃったね。来年からはちゃんと合流場所を決めておきたいな。
そうだね。やっぱりお祭りはみんなと一緒でないとね。
I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt.
ケイイチは僕の演舞はちゃんと応援してくれましたですか？
ああ、ちゃんと見てたぜ。最後までちゃんと頑張ったな。ミスもなかったし。
そうだよリカちゃん。
Oh, she did make mistakes.
あんなのはミスのうちに入らないよ。
I tensed up as I realized I'd made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand onto my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body.
ケイちゃんはやった？綿をもらって沢に流した？
You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head.
あれ？そうなのケイイチくん。早く行かないと終わっちゃうよ。終わっちゃうよ。
ごめん。初めてのお祭りだからさ。よくルールがわからなくて。
そうだったね。
Oh no, Mion's onto us, bro.
ごめん。
Mion took my hand and we started walking down the stone steps. Nah, Mion's onto us, man.
ねえケイちゃん。
なんだよ。
シオンには会わなかった？
Oh shit. Don't lie. Don't lie, Keiichi. If you lie, it's bad. My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand.
いや、でも、姿を見たような。でも、ミオンとそっくりだからな。ミオンだったのかもしれないし。
そんなに間違えないでしょ？
Oh my god, Keiichi, you literally just make it worse for yourself every time.
服装だって違うんだから。
Yeah.
そうだよな。
Oh shit. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me.
しょうがないな、シオンは。
Oh, she's killing Shion. she's killing Shion. Well, Shion, you're rip mode.
まあ、あいつのことだから、放っておいても大丈夫かな。
Mion's expression returned to her former usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. Nah, Shion's dead, bro. Ooh, Shion is dead. You know when Mion goes from serious to fucking back to herself, she's hiding. Ooh, she dead as fuck, bro. Ooh. One more? No, no, no. Discover what's in the storehouse. Plumbing the depths. Ooh, we're getting to the meat and potatoes, boys. We're right there. Read the tips. We'll read them tomorrow. We are at the meat and potatoes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, let's see. Boom, boom. Lazy? I'm not being lazy. What do you mean? Huh? Unfollow, unsub? Motherfucker! We literally started Higurashi early today as well. Fuck you. My food's been outside for 2.5 hours for you motherfuckers. Okay? I don't even know if I can eat that anymore. Like, can I even consume that, or am I just gonna get food poisoning? I don't fucking know. Alright? Oh my lord. Boom, boom. What the hell? Bean poisoning? Hey, listen. We got food poisoning tomorrow? Ooh, you know? That's your fault for not checking it. Honestly, I think Oyashiro-sama put something in my fucking food. I don't trust it. I might have to, get something new. I think we might just have to buy something new. Yeah. Alright, chat. Well, I'll send you guys over to Rexlent. He's doing some of the Devil May Cry collab on PGR Verpog. Tomorrow, we got Chacona pulls. Yes, sir. Big old Chacona pulls. I might add a couple more people. We'll see. And we're going to start up HSR story quest. I might only do like an hour so we could do some Higurashi, but we'll see. Anyways, good night, everybody. Bye-bye.